So, seen any good moves lately? Welcome back to episode 11 of the Survivor 50 recap podcast, I guess. I'm Joey, and today I am joined by the amazing, lovable, eclectic, and charismatic, the one, the only, the Alec. Alec, how are you doing today?
Joey, I'm so good. I'm so happy to be back talking to you, none other than you, about none other show than my favorite show, Survivor. Um, I'm so good. How could I
Yeah,
be anything other than good?
it's a great question. We got so much to talk about here. I mean, we haven't talked about Survivor at all this season, you and I,
No,
and
not
we
once.
we get the we get the chance to now.
We
Um,
can
and and look, it's Survivor 50. It's in the hands of the fans. It's in the hands of you and I equally.
you
Um,
you and I are responsible for all of this. And
this is
you,
what I
person
wanted.
listening,
Hmm.
the three of
All
us
three of us,
together,
and only us, and Jimmy
it's our
Fallon.
fault or our credit. There's not an opposite term like an antonym of fault that grammatically lands the same way. Our fault or our
Or no, there really
blessing.
isn't.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
our plotting would probably be the closest. I blessed this Survivor season with my vote. There
We've
you go.
bestowed the blessing upon you of dynamic
Yeah.
advantages.
Yes, a very dynamic indeed. Dynamic twist, the most chaotic game to ever be invented.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I think he took a little
yeah.
too much
We're
inspiration
crazy.
from he took a little too much inspiration from Mr. Beast, I think. He was like, "Oh my god, this Beast Games thing is awesome." But anyways,
Yeah,
it's
he
Survivor
probably
50.
probably was watching a lot of Beast games
Yeah.
around this time.
Let me ask you,
Mhm.
what have been your thoughts on the season so far? Because it's been wild.
It's definitely been a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions, of questions that I've had at times, but I'm having so much fun watching Survivor 50. And that was kind of the mindset that I came into it with was like when everybody saw the cast for the first time way back when, it was like, what the fuck even is this? Like it was such a hodgepodge cast. And it
Yeah.
was just like, okay, it's season 50. There's so many fucking people here. They're gonna do something big and crazy. Just have fun. Don't put just have fun. Don't put too much. You can't take this one too seriously. This is like the exhibition match, and I think it has totally delivered on that of
Yeah.
being fun and exciting and having these moments that are like good TV moments. Not 100% of them. Some of them have been a little bit clunky and haven't translated that well to the screen. But I think for the most part, even regardless of how you feel about the purity of the game here, we're having fun and we're making good TV.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Some might call it like dangerous fun. I don't know if I've ever heard that
Mhm.
before,
They
but
should use that.
I should use that. But yeah, I don't know. It really is a roller coaster, as you said. I feel like my opinion on it changes week to week, and in this case, it changed from part of the episode to the end of the episode, where like they had the episode, and I was like, all right, I'm in, and then they're like, by the way, we're splitting you up, and I was like, oh my god, are you fucking serious? And then and then the results happened that happened, and I was like, actually, you know what? That was pretty good.
They
So
totally brought it
I
back.
don't know.
I completely agree. I went on the exact same journey. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
not to jump too far ahead, but there was a lot of moments this episode for a significant chunk of time. I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe Cerie Fields goes home this way." And then she doesn't.
Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, well, hey, she's still here. It's not the worst thing in the world.
So, yep, that's kind of what I'm my mindset for a lot
Honestly,
of this season.
that's kind of yeah, that's kind of how I felt for a lot of the stuff this season. Because, like, in my opinion, like we had the worst case scenario with the infamous blood moon. Oh, we hate the blood moon. Because it was Colby and Genevieve and Camilla all going home, and it's like, yeah, it was pretty rough. It was a survivor genocide.
It was
Um,
clunky.
it was clunky at the very best, and at worst, it was gore of my comfort characters. It was pretty rough. But beyond that, I mean, like last episode, we had the Mr. Beast twist, and that ended, in my opinion, as well as it could have. But I mean, What do you think? What do you
Dude,
think?
that was so good. It was like, and man, you just did a whole podcast on that one, so we won't talk about that too much. But I think that's
Go
a
ahead.
great place to start. Of just that was so good. Everyone for months has been like, "Oh my God, Mr. Beast is gonna come ruin my life," and it was the best celebrity one by far. Like
Yeah.
that is had to be exactly what they were hoping for when they not only when they asked Mr. Beast to come do this, but when they got the celebrities involved in general. It was like the inception the what happened with Mr. Beast was what happened with like Caleb and the shot in the dark. Like when
Yeah.
Caleb's shot in the dark hit, they were like, okay, this is what we had in mind and what we were trying to get when we came up with this. Exactly the way the Mr. Beast thing played out was exactly what they were hoping for, and the end we were playing to with the celebrity stuff. It's crazy that that ended up being so much fun.
It
Sometimes you got to trust.
it's really funny just thinking about like obviously the season's not over yet, but we can do a little bit of reflection because it's like
Mhm.
going in the celebrities we knew about. We knew Jimmy Fallon was there.
Yep.
We were not excited for Jimmy Fallon. We knew Zach Brown was there. I feel like a lot of people in our circle didn't even really know who Zach Brown was.
No clue.
So there you go. And then there was Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson himself, who everyone was like, "Well, Mr. Beast is on the season. That's so lame." And then there's Billie Eilish, who people are like, I like Billie Eilish.
That'd be pretty
That's
cool.
it.
Yeah.
It's cool that she's a Survivor fan. And then now it's like they went polar opposites, where it's like now you can tell, oh, Mr. Beast is a genuine fan of Survivor and he cares about the game. And then I don't have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I've heard about. I've seen. Yes. Oh,
Billie
I'm
Eilish
very up to date, Joey.
goes on hit podcast, I guess, a good hang, I don't know, with Amy Poehler, and it's
Amy
like,
Poehler.
dude, what is with the Survivor thing? People keep asking me about Survivor. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
They were like really wanted me to do this thing. They kept asking me to do it, which I didn't even watch the full clip, so I shouldn't. But like, I got the
I mean,
gist
yeah, I
of.
got the gist too. Yeah,
Yeah, we've come so far, and
we've come so far. Yeah,
I think you go into really any season of Survivor with a set of expectations, and some, not all of those expectations, are completely destroyed along the way, for better or for worse. And
yeah.
Billie Eilish is on that list in a couple ways.
It's just really funny because I'm sure you saw these commercials, but I don't think they're international. So like they have now for the past two episodes had Billie Eilish commercials being like,
Yeah.
"Hey everyone, I'm Billie Eilish. I love Survivor, haha." And
Haha,
I'm
lol.
I'm gonna show you a really long trailer for my concert that's coming to theaters. And then at the same time, she's like, "Survivor's the dumbest thing ever. Like, who would
Yeah.
ever watch this?" You know, it's
It's like
very funny.
remember in 48 the Chapel Roan Instagram live where she was like talking about Survivor because Thomas was on and then Thomas
Yeah,
like went home in like glorious fashion and then it was like okay, well that ended quickly. Do you think if Thomas does better on Survivor 48 we have like the Chapel Roan um
the
the
Chapel Run.
the Chapel
Deal a
Roan
twist. Yeah,
yeah, the
whatever.
Chaperone. I can't think of a single word that starts with C.
The
The
Chapel Run,
Chaperone
call your
Christmas
shot.
Idol.
Yeah,
Call your
yeah,
shot. The
yeah,
Chaperone Christmas. Yeah,
something like
something
that.
like that. Do you think she's here if Thomas like wins Survivor 48 and she
I
like gets really into watching it?
I think that would have happened regardless if she got really into it or not. Because my theory is this: Jeff Probst wanted the stands to watch Survivor. He wanted to
Hmm.
get some pop girly to put all their eggs in the
Hmm.
Survivor basket. And I think Billie Eilish had said years ago that like, oh yeah, I grew up watching Survivor or something like that. When in reality, she probably saw like three seasons,
Hmm.
which I mean is I guess growing up watching it, but not like you
She,
or I.
yeah,
Um, you know,
she has a line in a song from a few years ago that says like
right?
I put on Survivor just to watch somebody suffer, and it turns out that that somebody was
Was
Genevieve.
wait, is that? Oh yeah, 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 for sure. Just
That's
because,
why she did this.
yeah, but she did this. She's anti Genevieve. Yeah.
Anti-Genevieve.
Um, but yeah, to answer your question, I think that could have happened if Thomas had gone further. But I think I saw Chapel Roan say something like, "Oh yeah, I'll watch it as long as Thomas is on," and then he got booted on like
Hmm.
episode 4 or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's like what happened with all the John Lovett fans
All the
in
John Lovett
the
fans. Yeah, for the one
in the
episode.
yeah, and I was trying to think of another example. There's not really one.
No, unless the Jimmy Johnson fans came out the
Jimmy
woodworks,
Johnson fans.
all the Dallas Cowboys fans, which
Yeah,
might have happened. I don't know.
like maybe that's how we got Danny McRae on season 41.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's
Honestly,
his
I
But
think
what about this episode?
okay, we
Enough
have to
about
talk to this
Danny
episode.
McRae and
Well,
Jimmy Johnson.
there's never enough to be said about Danny McRae or Jimmy Johnson, two Survivor legends in
Be a
their own
good captain season.
right. An all Cowboy season. Those two, Steve Wright from Redemption Island,
Cowboy.
and then Cowboy. I don't know if he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, but I mean it's close enough, right?
I
I
mean,
think
it's all Cowboy season.
wasn't Morgan from Cagayan like a Cowboys cheerleader, or was that somebody else? I know one. Some no, she
There
was a
is total.
49ers
I think it's
cheerleader.
Alexis from Cagayan is the no, I'm probably wrong. There's totally somewhere there's been a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader
I
in
mean,
Survivor.
we
Oh,
have the technology to figure this out,
is it
for
Jackie
sure.
from Gabon?
Wow, that would be a hell of a pull by me or
If I hit
you.
that right now, that's crazy.
All right, Dallas Cowboys.
You've been
Oh
playing
God.
Survivor.
Oh yeah, I've played that a little. I
So fun.
I got it on one try like a few weeks ago, and since then I haven't played again. I was like, all right, I peaked.
That's yeah.
Um,
I got it in two the other day. I did Wendy from Edge of Extinction, and then I did John from Thailand, and it was John from Thailand.
uh, Everyone's favorite Survivor player, John. No, no one likes that guy.
John, yeah,
Um,
I think he went to prison for
I'm yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
like
Um,
beating kids.
so yeah, this Google is not being very helpful to me. Shouts out to Google AI, everyone's favorite thing. But
Yep.
yeah, I do know Morgan was a cheerleader for the 49ers.
Hmm.
Wait, it looks like somebody was. Okay, I'm whatever. What do you think about this episode? I'm gonna keep doing this research.
I thought this was a good. Do we want to go beat by beat? Is that or do
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah,
to?
we
Is it
should.
just?
Actually, I think before we can talk about this episode, we should talk about last episode. I know we already were kind of talking about the Mr.
Yeah, we
Beast
talked about
stuff,
Mr. Beast.
but at least with the coin flip
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Stephanie going home, like what really Rick Devon's whole spiel. Like what did you think about him outing everything? I mean, Rick Devon's did a lot last episode.
Yeah, definitely biggest episode of Rick's Survivor career, which is saying something
Yeah, that says a
considering
lot.
the insane run that he goes on in Edge of Extinction and the pretty flashy episode that he had 2 episodes prior to last week's episode, where he does the whole grab the idol thing, and then it works, but it like did he actually need to do that is kind of the debate of like it probably wasn't going home, but this one it seems a little bit more like he was actually going home on
Yeah,
this one.
I that's I mean that's what they said this episode was like. Yeah, Jonathan and Joe had that conversation. They were like he would have gone home if he didn't, Mr. Beast it up. And then that happened, and then hey, the pot prize doubled, which I think
Yeah.
is something that is very easy for us to forget, but like that's got to be crazy, and it makes it even more crazy that Joe is still so mad about it.
So funny. It's so funny. And this is nothing new. A lot of people have been saying this in the discourse about Joe Hunter, which
Hmm.
I will be the first to admit I was not excited at all about Joe being on the cast.
Yeah, yeah,
Joe fits in such a good spot here on the cast. Joe acts like how I think a lot of people were expecting like Colby to act coming back into
for
this,
sure.
which is so funny that the guy from season 2 finally got on the board, and then it didn't go very well for him, but he got on. His brain was in the right spot. And then the guy from season 48 who almost wins season 48
Uh,
still is just like has the most old school mindset of the entire cast, and it's in a way where it's like, yeah, he is part of the honesty integrity stuff, but it's not like he's not like that annoying about it, and he can't really bring anything together anyway, so it's not really affecting like the outcome of anything. It's just this interesting wrench that the people who are controlling the game have to play around.
For
And
sure.
so I think I've very much enjoyed the B character, different mindset to the game, big thing to play around role that Joe is serving on this season.
Now, let me ask you this about Joe as I pull up a picture of him looking
There
like
he is.
Jesus on the
Look at that.
cross.
Look at that spotlit nipple.
Or you don't have to. You know, it really depends on your personal preference. I just like this picture because he looks like he's about to get crucified.
Hmm.
Um, but regardless, like, do we think that it's worse because he had just played Survivor 48, or do you think this is just how Joe is? Because he was kind of like this on 48. But he also got more of the hero edit, so I don't know.
So I think I think that Joe, I think it's probably a little bit of both, where I think Joe totally has, especially coming into the season and early on, like hearing him talk about Kyle and Camilla in the preseason and the little bit that he gets to in the beginning of the game, where he totally has like is fucked up, not just from playing the year prior, but mostly from watching it back,
Oh
because
yeah,
48, it had finished airing, like, and then next week they're doing this, and Joe like totally clearly is in his head about that and feels some type of way about that. But also, yes, Survivor brings out parts of you that are never really brought out in most of your life, but those are parts of you. And so this is just who Joe is, just amplified and like backed into a corner. And so that's what I think. And there's who knows if psychologically that's correct at all. But what do you
yeah.
think about Mr. Joseph?
Look, I think it's interesting. This is actually to help give you my thoughts. I was going to ask you another question, but I'll just give them anyway, which is I think it kind of depends on what Joe believes his reception was on 48 because he know he
Hmm.
lost. He know he lost from the moment he lost, but
Yeah.
he had a while to reflect on it before he saw it on television. But like among the casual audience, he's this beloved firefighter. We love Joe. We love this guy. You know, we're going to put him on a CBS show later after he comes back from 50. That's how much we love him. He's going to be get his own 48 hours special, you know. He's in many ways one of the biggest casual like players, like players among the casuals probably since at least the 30s.
Oh yeah.
Um and meanwhile, the more hardcore audience, you and I, not necessarily you and I, but those in our circle, are
Hmm.
not quite as kind to Joe.
Not quite.
So I wonder if, like, you know, Good Morning America is like, yeah, we love Joe, but then all the people who actually care about the show are like, oh my God, you're the worst, you know, or like at least near the end. And he goes into it like, oh my God, I just got owned by Kyle and Camilla on live television, not live television, but you know, and 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 you know, I'm by myself. I gotta just like make sure we don't have any strategic masters left in the ranks. And so
Hmm.
I do think that's part of the paranoia, but also, I mean, he was also like that on 48 too. He was also
Yeah.
like, you know, he
He
didn't like strategy.
yeah, he's as paranoid now as he was in the like back half of 48, which,
Yeah.
you can't really blame anybody for that. Survivor makes you feel that way.
But he was also
Um,
that from the start. Like he was that level paranoid at the very start of the game.
oh
So,
yeah.
you know, I think it's interesting because like I'm sure if I look back at Russell Hantz, like he's as paranoid at the start of Heroes versus Villains as he was at the end of Samoa, I'm sure. And Spencer and you know all these other players too. So I
I
don't know.
I feel like the Russell Hantz thing is almost like in the beginning of Samoa when he's like burning socks and stuff, he's like
Mhm.
doing it in like a tongue-in-cheek way, and then he's totally hamming it up for the audience, but then by like day 30 in Heroes versus Villains, he's totally like the character of Russell Hantz that he built, he now is and has remained that way
Yes.
since 2009, of just like it just burned his brain, and it molded him into the little goblin that Courtney does the impression of.
I love that. No, that's so true. I mean, there are so many modern equivalents as well. Like that's like, okay, I'm a guy who's like, yeah, I'm totally performative. Haha, you know, I wear these like cut off shorts and whatever, and haha, drink matcha. Haha, I'm so aware. And then you just become that guy. Like I've seen that happen to so many people in real life that it's
Has that
like
happened to you yet?
it's gonna happen. It hasn't happened to me yet, but it's going to.
It's gonna. The
So
night is still young.
the night is still young. Um, by the way, I have an important update. So,
Yes.
no Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, but there are some interesting names I did not know were cheerleaders in the NFL that were on Survivor. So,
Okay.
Brenda was a cheerleader for the Dolphins. Tasha,
Yes.
yeah, Tasha
Yes.
Fox was a cheerleader, which I did not know.
Oh.
Um, Chelsea from Ghost Island was a cheerleader. Um, Kara Kay from David versus Goliath was a cheerleader, and yes,
Queen.
Morgan was a cheerleader. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know idea about Tasha. That's wow.
yeah, the more you know, the more you
Well,
know.
I
Um,
saw I did not speak to, but I saw multiple times Tasha. I went to the Bryson Wen event in St. Louis for the episode where Christian was voted out. And I was in a room with Tasha Fox. I at no point got an opportunity to speak to Tasha, but she was there. And I had no clue she was a cheerleader the whole time.
no, that's so fair. I wouldn't have thought that either. Like when I was in Toronto for the exact same episode, and I had a very
Oh
similar
shit.
experience with Genevieve, where I saw Genevieve, but it's like I don't know how it was with Tasha, but I was like that she was like traveling with a posse. I was like, I am too much of a nobody to walk up to this person. Like
I,
she was intimidating for sure.
I saw Genevieve in the in San Francisco for the merge episode of 49, and the only interaction I had with her was in between one of the commercials. There was like her and Rachel were giving out like raffle tickets for like one of the Puzzle Hungry raffles that they were giving out,
Oh
and
sure.
I like and the episode had come back on, and I was like in line in front, so I was like hunched over, and it was dark, and I ran over to Genevieve, and she was also hunched over, and she gave me a little raffle ticket, and we didn't say a single word to each other, and I just like yoinked it out of her hand and ran back to my seat, and it's still in my wallet.
There you go. Souvenir. And you two had some unspoken connection where you knew that you didn't have to say a word. It was
Mhm.
just knowledge.
Yep,
Yeah.
she gave me a losing raffle ticket, so I cast a spell on her, and that's why everything that happened to her this season happened.
This is what you wanted.
It
This
was
was in the hands of you. Yeah.
in the hands of me.
All right. Well, let's get back to this episode.
Yeah.
Because you
My
know, Rick
gosh, and 22 minutes in, and we've only talked about Joe looking crucified.
but that was important to talk
That
about.
yeah, we really had to drive that point home.
But yeah, so Stephanie goes home and we go into this episode and the first few minutes, yeah, thank God for that. And
Thank
the
God.
first few minutes is just Rick Devens kind of celebrating, which I
Victory
think is
lap.
awesome. We get a montage of him doing like a what's that thing called with the legs with the
A heel
clap
click?
heel click? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Um, and he's living his life and he's living his best life. And it's like, I did kind of like the part where he was like, yeah, if you want to play Survivor, you should play it like me because that's very self indulgent, but also like he gets a pass.
When you pull off what he pulled off last episode, you can say stuff like that. And I feel
Yeah,
like this like Survivor community is typically very hard on people who are not humble.
yeah.
But I think it's easier to get away with that when uh you just added $2 million to the prize pot and also you're a white guy.
I mean, it's true. I can't deny that, but also like I feel like most of the people who are overconfident on Survivor and are always talking about it happen to be white guys. So I mean,
Mhm.
like, there's something to be said about that for sure. I don't know what it is, but there you go. That's a
Could you
different type of podcast.
could you imagine if Ricard Foyer did the heel click in the jungle? Could you
I,
imagine?
you know what? I can't imagine him doing that, but I can imagine Shan doing it. So there you go.
Could you imagine if Shan did a fucking heel click in the jungle?
I mean, she was doing the thing. I mean, that was pretty
Yeah, but
self
that was
indulgent.
fucking cool as fuck.
Was it?
I love the Shantham. I fucking love the Shantham. Oh my god, that was. Well, this is another
No, no.
podcast.
I look. I don't know.
I'm a big
Maybe
Rick
I'm
guy.
just scarred from watching Shan on the Challenge US season 1 and
She was there for what, like 3 seconds?
yeah, she was, but she was also on the challenge, which is so
She was.
random. That seems very random
That was
nowadays.
Challenge
Uh,
USA did now dead Challenge USA.
yeah, now we're gonna have challenge 42 or whatever, and I know that I know Michelle's on it.
Michelle's on it. Hey, busy,
Cassidy's
booked
on
and
it.
busy. Michelle,
Cassidy's on
Keanu
it,
from Big Brother's on it.
which I am so excited
Yeah,
for.
that's the place he was supposed to be.
That's the place he's supposed to be. Morgan's got to get on eventually. She was also meant for that show, as
Mhm.
I probably said to you during that podcast where we were talking about
Probably.
Big Brother. Um, yeah, and Chris Underwood's back on there, which I'm very
Yep.
excited for. And then Letty from Deal or No Deal Island
Oh
season
my
2.
God, yes. Oh my
My
God. I fucking
my
loved Letty.
golden goose. That I was
Le-
so happy. That's the most excited I've been for a cast announcement, even probably including anyone from 50. Maybe not Coach, but everyone else.
Dude, you know who needs to be on a season of television together? Letty and Joe. They need
Oh
to
my
be
god.
they need to be in the same season of Traitors, and they need to be completely loud and wrong faithfuls. That's
I
what I
I
want for Traitors 5.
I'll give this credit to Joe because I feel like some people have said this, but not enough. Is that like it or not, Joe is fantastic television.
Yeah.
Like he's because the thing is, if he were, this is the problem with him in 48, which is not true of him in 50. In 48, he was the dominant force and he was annoying. In this season, he's annoying and he's not the dominant force at all. Like he's being blown through by everybody.
Yep.
Like Aubrey on the bottom is like wheeling and dealing him like it's the easiest thing in the world. And Aubrey's a good Survivor player, obviously, but like also it should have been the easiest vote in the world theoretically. So I
Yes.
mean, you know, it's funny how that works. Um, I do want to mention this before we really get into it, which is there was something when I was rewatching the episode I noticed, which even before this great tax broker twist or whatever Jeff called it
The
happened.
tax broker twist.
Is broker something? I don't remember.
Was it? Wait, like the split tribal?
Yeah, he
It
called
had
it
a
he
name?
called it yeah, he kept calling it something broker. It wasn't tax broker. I
I
just said that as a
totally
joke,
missed
but
that.
it had a name. Um, but there's this moment where like before they got split up, Sareed and Tiffany both said to him, "Yeah, they're coming after you, Ozzy." And he's like, "Okay, well then I'll just play my idol." So, we're gonna get into it, but I mean, as you lay back on your couch in agony, I say this. Um, Ozzy is one of the most fascinating characters in Survivor history because his stupidity, when in full effect, knows no bounds. When he's at his peak of stupidity, there's no one else dumber. Not Jason Siska, not Eric Reichenbach, not any of the other men on Micronesia. It's Ozzy.
It's crazy. It is.
Yeah.
This is, and again, this is not a hot take. This is far and away the most I have ever enjoyed Ozzy on a season of Survivor.
Mhm.
And like, I was never an Ozzy fan on any of his first four times out. I just didn't really click with him. And this time, like with a lot of people, he was clicking, and I was really really enjoying the guy. And I thought like he had gotten to a point where he, instead of, because one of the big things about Ozzy coming back this season, there was a question mark of like, we've seen Ozzy play the same game four times. Like, why do we need to see this again? What change could he possibly make? And I think the narrow-minded view was, okay, well, Ozzy's not going to become a strategic mastermind, so why are we doing this? But that's the thing, is he was able to change his game by recognizing, okay, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. I'm going to peel away from my weaknesses and stop, like, try to work on them, but also understand that they are my weaknesses and get allies who can fill those gaps for me while I try to parse it out while also leaning on my strengths. And it was really interesting to watch that play out, especially because the person he was doing it with was fucking Suri Fields. And then it just all goes away. It
Yeah.
just all got flushed down the fucking drain.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but like in terms of like there are so many people, third, fourth time out, they've been doing this a while. And it's like most of the people you could see them revert to their past selves. Coach tried to be the tide walker for a while, became coach again.
Yep.
Sari not even trying to do anything new. She's just Sari again, but it always works, right?
Yes.
Stephanie, I feel like kind of regressed back to her boring persona, to put it mildly. And there are other such cases. The only exceptions I felt were Colby, who I felt was back to his old self, complimentary. He's back to
Yeah.
Australian Outback, and then Ozzy, who became Oscar. He changed himself,
Mhm.
and then it's like this episode happens, and it's like, man, things go a lot different when you don't have Suri Fields next to you. I mean,
It
jeez.
it was the exact same thing that happened in Big Brother 25, where Suri is dragging Jared by the ear through the entire game, and
Yeah.
then she gets stuck in a kayak with Felicia for 48 hours or whatever,
Yeah, who
and
could
then
forget?
Jared is off leash for a little bit, and he just goes and just flushes it all away. Just in record time, flushes everything down the fucking toilet. And Ozzy, watching Ozzy do the exact same thing was pretty nightmarish.
It's amazing. I'm gonna give a lot of credit to Suri in this sense because like Ozzy should not have gotten as far as he did in the first place. People have been targeting him since I think like episode 3,
Yeah,
because of this idol he had, but also because I don't know, you may as well target Ozzy.
why not?
Um, but she's been dragging him along, as you said, this whole game, and it's to such an effect that I'm like, dang, if Sari really is even more magical at Survivor than I thought she was, does that in turn take away from all the other allies she's had in the past that she's dragged to the end? Like, maybe not Parvati, but like, was Natalie Bolden really that good, or was she just smart enough to align with Sari? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Can I, and this might be jumping the gun, and we'll talk about this a lot when we talk about Tribal Council #1 and just like the season as a whole. But
Sure,
we're
please.
30 minutes in, so I'm not jumping anything.
No.
I have a theory. And the result of this season, we are now deep enough in, I can say confidently, win or lose for Sari, my opinion is not going to change here. I seriously think that Sari might be the best of all time. Despite the fact that she hasn't won, the fact that she is able to do this, to operate clearly better, leagues and leagues above most of the competition on this season, fucking what 20 years after the first time she played, in
Mhm.
a totally different era of the game, and having success in so many different eras of the game, in like the golden age, in
In
the
different
30s,
ways.
in the
Yeah.
50s, in the Australian version of the show, to be able to perform well across that many eras for that many years, to also go and win traders, to also go and do way better than she ever had any business doing on that season of Big Brother. I seriously think that Suri is the best social strategy game
Okay.
player to ever be put on television.
All right. I at first I thought you were saying she was the best Survivor player of all time, and I was like, I get it, but I can't agree with that because she's never won. But I was going to counter with comma, but she's the best social strategy player of all time. Because
Absolutely, yeah.
if you take everything into account, it's impossible not to acknowledge it, in my opinion. It's like it's
Mhm.
just like
She
you had D at the start of the season be like, and in the pregame press being like, the one thing I was told is that I can't align with Suri, and then she aligns with Suri for like half the game, and then the moment that it's like, all right, well maybe we should target Suri, she's out. It's
And
amazing.
John and Jonathan, that conversation that Dee has, she has that conversation about her friend Mel with Jonathan. And Jonathan is like, we have to get rid of Suri before the merge, or we are screwed. And it's now the final 9, and Jonathan has his foot on Suri's neck and doesn't pull the trigger because he wants to work with her. How?
It's
How?
crazy. I
What the fuck?
I think it's two things, and I think it's been two things for basically all the times Cerise played Survivor. It is egos thinking that they're automatically better than Cerise going into the second point, which is because she's not good at challenges. I mean,
Mhm.
like she's, but that also makes her even better because it's like she's playing at such an inherent disadvantage compared to everybody else because she can't perform the same way that these other people, or really just doesn't feel the need to because she doesn't have to. You
Yeah.
know, it's it's crazy.
That's. I mean, it's well on that note before because that's going to send me down so many rabbit holes.
No,
I
I
just
love
talk
rabbit
about
holes. Let's do it.
future thinking. We got
Let's
two
do it.
episodes left, Joey. Do you think she can pull it off?
No,
Down an ally. You don't think so?
not at all. Not even before this, I didn't think so. I
Really?
just no, not at all. I just think if you want me to be totally real, I think we this episode was the tipping point, and even though I truly believe she's gonna somehow work her way to the final four because she always does,
Yes.
she's gonna lose in fire making. Like, who's losing to her in fire making?
There might not even be fire making, Joey.
Well,
Also, who's
okay.
losing to her in fire making? Probably Rizzo. Probably Rizzo's losing to her in fire making.
I mean,
If
Rizzo
he
did
gets there.
better when he did fire making than Sari did in fire making.
Yeah, but she's done it so many times now. You lose.
I,
You think she's going to be 0-4 in fire making?
yes.
That'd be fucked. If she picks thing up and starts swinging it around like Sarah and Luke, then I'm gonna get off my I'm gonna get stand up on my couch and take my shirt off.
Yeah. But I mean, regardless, despite either you taking your shirt on off or not, I think my point is really just just like I think I think when it comes down to the end, and Rick Devon said it this episode,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Rick said it, is that she beats anybody at the end automatically. Like
Yeah,
everyone knows that. Like, and
yeah,
everyone knows that, and everyone's known that since the start of the game.
yes.
It's so the fact that she made it past episode one is already a small miracle. It should be
Mhm.
seen as a miracle. We shouldn't take it for granted. And the fact that she's still here and played the extra vote successfully is like 5,000 tiny miracles in one. It's the miracle of birth. It's impossible to even quantify.
Yeah. By the way, arguably the first ever successful extra vote use of all time, because the Marianne one has an asterisk by it. I kind of debate that. I'm a pro Marianne got it, but this one undebatably a correct use of the extra vote. And if of course it comes from none other than Sari, who almost also had the first successful use of a steal a vote, but then Troyzan was like, it says non-transferable at the bottom of this paper.
The one thing Troy Zane did that season.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. No, I'm not going to ask you a question at Final Tribal. No, I'm not going to. um, yeah, but anyways, let's continue with the episode because that's how we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about this stuff more. So we have the classic challenge of balance on a thing in the water. It's a classic triangle.
Someone at the tree mail called it the doghouse challenge. I think Rizzo calls it the doghouse challenge.
That sounds like something
It's a
Rizzo would call it. Yeah,
great name for it because it does look like a little doghouse.
yeah.
They're like
That's
Snoopy up there.
I was
Or
about to say it's a
yeah,
stop with
Snoopy.
the camel or whatever. Um, yeah, gonna fight the Red Baron.
Yeah.
Um,
No, they
but
are the
yes,
Red Baron.
well, regardless, whatever.
Right. Yeah. That's
Semantics.
what Snoopy. I don't know.
Yeah, who cares? It's Survivor. We're talking about Survivor. But we had this classic challenge of balance on the thing. And I like how they showed us a montage of, hey, this is what the challenge looks like when it's exciting. Like in Survivor 42.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
This is what it looks like when it's fucking crazy.
And so it's not too crazy, but at the end of the day, it appears that Tiffany wins, and she wins until they go to the tape, and then they see that Jonathan actually won. Um, what did you think about this this instant replay in Survivor? This challenge that was implemented. Uh,
So I of course, I was very excited when Tiffany won, and I
Hmm.
was very heartbroken when Jonathan won, actually.
Yeah.
However, that was totally the right call. That was
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
that was like, yeah, like she was like as Jeff points out, Ozzy is falling in the water and she's still on 2 feet. And it's like, okay, yeah, like this I think this very much falls in the Burton spelling liaison incorrectly
Oh yeah.
uh
Yeah.
category of like, yeah, that was like we missed that, and even though that was the call made on the field, that was a little bit too much of the wrong call and we need to go back and fix this. um
Yeah, I
what
was
did you
gonna
think of that?
ask you. I thought I was gonna say I thought that the last time they went to like instant review on that is I'm pretty sure they did that in Marquesas when they had like the two boats and one of them was like separated by like a chain length to where they were supposed to like dock in.
Oh
Um
yeah, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, what it was like, yeah, like they put it in the wrong spot or something.
yeah, they put it in
Oh
the
my
wrong
god, I
spot and celebrated, but they had to be within like the chain length finish, and then so the other
yeah,
tribe won.
oh my god,
Uh,
I haven't thought about that probably since I watched that episode for the first time. That's crazy. What a
I
poll.
know. Well, hey, we had the crazy polls here, whether it's Kara K was a cheerleader or that challenge, you know.
Or the boat, the infamous boat from Marquesas.
Which everyone remembers. But I thought it would have been far less interesting if Tiffany won, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I just think Jonathan, like, he probably because of the way he is, he's a lot more pushier about his agenda than I think Tiffany would have been in this situation. Maybe I'm just saying things, I don't know. But that being said, I would have liked to see Jonathan lose because I would rather had him go out than Ozzy. But also
Yeah.
Ozzy went out in the most perfect way, so I don't know. Maybe more
Yeah,
so
yeah.
than ever.
I think it definitely. I think Jonathan was like a good person to have this advantage of him like walking around like he's hot shit, and then like all the while, like yes, he was able to pull off the Ozzy blindside here. So like credit where credit is due. Obviously, he had a very big part in that. And it was great. And it was like really, really compelling. And it's going to be something that people talk about forever is Ozzy going home this way.
Yeah.
So props to Jonathan there. But also while he's walking between these beaches, he goes to the other beach and just doing the absolute wrong thing. Like totally, totally, in my opinion, colossal misplay from Jonathan here to be getting rid of Emily and Devons and not be breaking up, not only like getting rid of Suri for the reasons that Suri is Suri, but for like breaking up the duo of Suri and Tiffany. And just especially given the relationship that he has with Tiffany on this season of the whole like chart, like what the fuck happened to any of that? Like Tiffany and Charlie or Tiffany and Jonathan being like so butting heads with each other because of the Charlie thing and the Camilla thing, and then now, or not the, yeah, she wasn't even there for the
I
Charlie
get
thing.
what
It was
you're
just
saying.
it was just the
Yeah.
Camilla thing, but that was what started it all. But yeah, the Camilla thing, and then they're just he's just voting with them. Why?
It's a great point. And what I would say to that is as we look at Jonathan again, I would say this. I think the whole vibe this episode was they finally realized probably after Devon's got a free idol and everyone saw him get a free idol. I think that's when everyone realized like, "Oh, we actually need to do something about these idols because this entire season they've basically been ignoring it or when they're not ignoring it, they're basically ignoring it because they're like, all right, well, we'll split the vote and do this impossible plan where it's impossible to split the votes. But I mean, I don't know. This is the first episode where they're like, oh, we have to actually do something. But so I think Jonathan got so preoccupied and like, well, I don't want to get idled out in the
Mhm.
future that he just
Yeah.
actively did not vote against the people who were going after him, which like I get if he didn't see that Suri was going to go after him, but not getting at Aubrey is crazy to me. It was the easiest option for a reason, in my opinion. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I I think the Emily boot was fine. I think that was fine for Jonathan, honestly, because she wasn't going to work with him long term anyways.
But also I kind of think that Jonathan And I know sometimes people put the cart in front of the horse when they're thinking about stuff like this, but I really think that Emily was one of the people that Jonathan could like beat at the end. And I don't think there's a lot of people left here that Jonathan could beat at the end. And so for him to be having an opportunity to get rid of, if I think Devins and Tiffany and Suri all handily beat Jonathan in the final three, and Emily doesn't. And Emily's
See,
the one who goes home there.
I agree with you about Emily. I agree with you about Suri and Devins. I don't know if I agree with you about Tiffany. I just feel like I feel like I don't know how much Tiffany is actually respected in the game. I don't get a sense of that.
I feel like people like Tiffany, like from the little bit that we've been able to see of Tiffany. Because even though we're seeing a lot more Tiffany than we did in the first half of the season, we're still not getting that much Tiffany.
Not at
But
all.
the little bit that we do get, it seems like people really like her. Like people, and this is not an observation that I had. This is a Rob Cesternino observation of when Tiffany wins immunity, everyone is happy. Everyone celebrates when Tiffany wins immunity. And that's usually a pretty good sign that at the very least people like you. How what that means for the perception of how you're playing the game could be a little different, but people like Tiffany. There's a lot of people here
Yeah.
that don't like Jonathan. There's a lot of people on the jury that don't like Jonathan.
That's a really good point. And at the end of the day, when it comes to who wins in Survivor, 95% of the time, it's going to be whoever just happens to be most well liked.
Yep.
Like, people will justify their own decisions and who they vote for by either being, being like, yeah, no, I mean, Yule played a way better game than Ozzy, even if, part of that comes down to socials. Or if it's just like, yeah, Kenzie had crazy fire in her eyes. Like, you wouldn't believe the fire that was in her eyes. It was insane. Like they'll
Yeah.
justify it however. So
I've
I mean, like, whatever.
I've been a juror on many online reality games, and I vote for the person I like the most every single time. And
Yeah,
I totally come up with reasons other than I like them more than the other people. But especially because it's so low stakes, because it's a fucking org, I just vote
sure.
for the person I like the most.
And I've also been in that situation, not in years, but I remember at least once I was on the jury and I voted for the person who I thought was most deserving, but instead of the person I liked more. And you know how I felt? Awful. I was like, I don't want to vote for this guy. He's annoying, and then he was grandstanding and annoying. He was basically being Jonathan, or maybe a Rick Devens. And I was like, I don't want to vote for this guy. I'd rather vote for the equivalent of a Tiffany, who I got along with way
Hmm.
better, even if maybe she didn't play as strong of a survivor game. And then I didn't do that. So I'm a
Yeah,
hypocrite, I guess. But whatever. Um, you know,
classic Joey.
classic me. Hypocrite Olberding. That's what they
Classic
call
Joey.
me.
Yep.
Um, but I think
500 Hypocrite Hill.
it's true.
That's your address.
um, that is you doxed me. You got me. Um, but yeah, I think you convinced me that maybe Jonathan has even worse odds than I thought. Because like last episode, Drew and I went through the whole gambit. We were like, this person has a chance, this person doesn't have a chance, all this stuff. And I thought Jonathan was squarely in the middle. And maybe I still feel that way because we're only at like 7 people left. But I mean, who's he gonna beat other than Joe? I mean, Aubrey?
Like, yeah, I think depending on how the game goes from here, I think he has a shot against Aubrey and he has a shot against Rizzo. Um, but like
I
Devins
don't know.
and Suri and Tiffany just fucking destroy him in a in a final three. Which it was, I guess, good thing he got Ozzy out because Ozzy would have destroyed him in a final three, I guess. But it's still I I totally get the point also about like why it would have been good for Jonathan to get rid of Aubrey there over like take the shot at Ozzy, um, despite the fear about idols and everything. Um, because especially Aubrey's kind of sort of waking up a little bit now, and you, when you have someone who's not working with you, the last thing you want them to do is wake up.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw it this episode where even when they were forced to work with each other, they basically very openly disliked each other. Where Jonathan was like, so you're kind of on the bottom, and she's like, I've played 4 times, I know that. Like,
Yeah,
not very friendly
and
towards one another.
and Aubrey spills the whole fucking shit that like everything about Ozzy and Cerie's alliance, which should have signaled to Jonathan, I should get rid of Cerie also.
Yeah.
Cerie and Ozzy should be going home right now, and I am the only person with the power to do that. Very specifically, I'm the only person with the power to make that happen, and that is a game-winning move for me. And he doesn't take it because he doesn't trust Aubrey.
Yeah. It's honestly, if you want me to be totally real, I think it's okay leaving Suri because I mean they seem to be somewhat aligned, even if Suri obviously has people she's aligned with more. But Jonathan needs Suri to get through this game, I think.
Mhm.
I think Jonathan would have been better trying to get a vote on Tiffany because that
I don't think that's a bad idea either. Yeah.
I think that would have been way better. And also, Tiffany is like the one person who's fighting him in immunities each and every
Mhm.
time. Like, no one
Mhm.
else has come close. Rizzo's not winning
Yeah.
immunity.
If Ozzy and Tiffany both go here, there's what, 4 immunity challenges left. Every single one of them is going to be won by either Jonathan or his number one ally, Joe.
Yeah. Or like if it's all puzzles, then okay, yeah, maybe Aubrey can win, whatever.
Yeah.
But even still, that's pretty freaking good odds. And
Yeah,
Tiffany
that's
has just been
good
killing it.
chance.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
what a I love this like little arc for Tiffany of being just really fucking good at the challenges and
yeah,
having like 2.5 wins this
yeah.
season.
I mean, she's kind of gotten the Chelsea Ghost Island edit where it's like she's nowhere and then
Mhm.
she wins some immunities, and then
Yeah.
we'll see if she, stays in the
She could
game longer. But I
if she
mean,
can parlay that.
yeah. Um, I do want to talk about this because we kind of skipped past this, which is
Mhm.
Jonathan wins immunity, I guess, and then we decide, hey, let's draw some rocks for fun. We can't just have we can't just have one. We have to do split tribal council again. But what do you think? What do you think? You have thoughts.
This
What do
was
you
the scariest moment of my entire life. This was the
think?
most afraid I have ever been
Yeah.
because we got the fucking game changers flashback of Suri getting advantage Geddon because she was the only one without an idol. And then Jeff goes, reach your hand into this bag. We're going to
I,
randomly divide you into groups of 4. When one of you is Suri Fields, and 3 of you have idols, and one of you is Jonathan who has immunity. And that for just like that whole moment between the reveal of the twist and the groups being revealed, I was like, oh my fucking god, it's going to happen again. I
I
cannot believe this. And then it didn't, and it was
I
fine.
I did think the exact same thing, and I forgot that I thought the exact same thing. I think I put that in the back of my mind in a place it never should have gotten out. Yeah,
Terrifying.
no, truly. I
I
mean, God, I hate split tribal councils so much. I hate them so much. I've been on this train since, I started this podcast a year ago. I'm sure I talked about it with you and many other people about how much I hate them for so many reasons. And then this is like the third time we've done it this season alone. Like, because we had the blood moon, we had this, and then didn't we have a split tribal before that? Or no,
Well,
I'm making that up.
there was kind of like there was the when Angelina and Charlie went out because it was like only one tribe wins immunity, and
Mm,
then the coach and Chrissy had the like double boot because the Tide
yeah,
Destinies twist. But
yeah.
those were the only split tribals. But the it was a 3-way split for the Blood Moon, so it felt like 2,
Like, let's stop drawing rocks.
right?
Let's do that. Wouldn't it be so interesting to just once be like, all right, you're going to tribal council, split into groups right now. You get to do it. Do it right now.
Yeah. Sorry, and I so I'm not as low on the split tribal councils as concept as you are. I definitely would like it to be less than it is. I would
Yeah,
like it if it was rarer because it's been one a season for 100 years.
I
And
know.
it would be nice if it was like a rare thing, like holy shit, we're doing a split tribal. And I like the concept for this one might have been my favorite of like that they've done so far of having this person who just like has
Yeah.
to walk down the half of the beach and who gets to vote in both. I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was a new thing we hadn't seen before. And so it didn't feel exactly the same as the other split tribals. And
Yeah.
so that was like at least some breath of fresh air there that played out in a very interesting way in result.
Yeah.
And we're
It's
results
a good
oriented around here.
it's a good point, and I do think that that is a reason that it did go down easier for me. Not even just because the result was pretty solid for what it could have been, but it was it was like having cheese surrounding your cyanide pill. It was like
Yeah.
it's a little better. Um, I mean, like I'm never gonna get over when we first did the split tribal council and Survivor Fiji and Michelle Yi went home. I'll never get
Mm.
over it. I still think it is one of the most screwed over a player's ever been, rivaled only by every other time we've done it since then. Like especially Genevieve, Jesus Christ. But I mean, like, God, I hate it so much.
Genevieve could have played out of that, but that's another
Well,
podcast.
then replace that with Camilla or Colby. I don't know. At least one of them got super
Colby
screwed
gets
over.
fucked.
Yeah,
Colby gets fucked.
yeah.
But Genevieve should have just thrown Joe under the bus.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But that's a discussion for another day. Um, either way, so we get the split tribal and we
We
got
get the split tribal.
Jonathan walking between the two sides. And the first side we get is the Cerise side,
Yep.
where Emily and Devins know that they're on the bottom. And so Emily hatches this plan to basically convince everyone that Devins is going to play the idol on her, and then they'll get out Devins. What did you think about this plan?
So I like this idea. However, before we go too deep on that, I have to comment on something. Because
Please.
before this whole plan got into this, before Emily started cooking, which she was cooking, before any of that started happening, Jonathan walks up this half of the beach. He goes, "Hey, how's it
Sounds
going?"
like him. Yeah, sounds like
And
him.
they're
Yeah.
like, everyone's like, I want to fucking die right now. That's how it's going. And he goes, okay, you ever seen a phoenix dance? And he starts bouncing his pecs while he's wearing the necklace to these four people who are basically standing in front of a firing squad. And
Yeah.
he goes, watch me jiggle my breasts. And makes them stand there and watch him
But
do
they're
that.
also amazed. They
Yeah,
did
they
seem
go,
quite impressed.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think I don't think we got a reaction shot there. I would I would like I would like punch the biggest dude at a bar to see the look on Emily's face
Yeah.
watching him do that.
I mean I've said it a million times. We need the extended cut. Hour and a half isn't enough.
Hmm.
Just for stuff like that. Like you can't that's crazy because I did totally forget that happened, but my God, it did happen.
I was not gonna let that not go. I was not gonna let that go unmentioned here
I
because that blew me the fuck away. I was like, I cannot believe that he's doing this right now.
honestly, I think this gives more credence to your point of like, yeah, Jonathan's not gonna win likely
No.
because he intrinsically is just on a different like he's on another level, but like not in the good way. Like he's
Yeah.
just like he wants to be Boston Rob so bad. Like he goes to the literally get has the personal Boston Rob masterclass of how to play Survivor. But the problem is when you're getting the personal Boston Rob masterclass, you have to ignore that Boston Rob, like lost at Final Tribal Council. Like he did not pitch his game well in All Stars, and also burned everybody on the jury. Now Jonathan has exceptions. I'm sure Chrissy and Coach and Stephanie would be happy to see him win, but
Mhm.
everyone else, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's got some friends on the jury. He's got some friends, and the jury is going to be 11 people.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I really have a hard time seeing it come together for Jonathan. And I was actually pretty high on Jonathan's chances, at least for most of the season, where like there was a point where I was like, oh my God, I think Jonathan's gonna win the game. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I that has totally fucking gone off the rails for me. And this episode was a was one of many nails in the coffin for him.
I'll say this. Look, I truly don't think Jonathan's going to go home anytime soon. My
No.
comp that I've had for him for weeks is he is Brad Culpepper in Game Changers.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh yeah. That's a great
is
comparison.
he's going to power his way to the end somehow, and it's like he has technically been strategic and he has technically orchestrated moves, but at the end of the day, whoever is sitting next to him is going to have all the respect, even if they are equally as disliked, if not more so, like Sarah was, which is not going to happen, by the way. But even if that were to happen, he's still losing. He'll get a
Yeah.
few votes, he'll finish in second place, and we'll be like, wow, that winner, that was a really good winner. And then we'll not talk about how
Mhm.
his game ever.
Yeah, I think Jonathan is, and I think that's thinking about it from the Boston Rob lens. I think that's a great, um, like he's really following in the footsteps of, well, maybe not really following in the footsteps of Boston Rob's All Star season because Boston Rob plays a great game on
Yeah,
All Stars,
yeah.
and Jonathan is playing a game that is not great, and
But there's a
it,
lot of comps. There's a lot of comps.
and it will probably result in second place for Jonathan also.
This is, I think, the new era equivalent of Boston Robin All Stars because he's basically he's overpowering everyone who stands in his way, or at least is trying to, and being like,
Mhm.
"You're gonna work with me, like Aubrey. We're gonna work together because you have to. You have to work with me." And then he's also like Boston Robin All Stars. He's like trying so hard to do jury management. It's not Aussie levels, but like kind of like Boston Rob with Lex. He's like, I gotta do it. And but with like Ozzy this episode, he was like, I had to take you out, man. I had to. It's the same type of thing. I think the thing is like Boston Rob and All Stars. When it happens to everyone, people are gonna see past the bullshit and be like, oh, you're just like not someone who I want to be the representative of the season because I don't like
Yeah.
you.
Yep. Yep. Bingo. Yeah. It only can get you so far to play, and we've seen 100 fucking people fall into that same trap, and here comes Jonathan.
The exception is if he somehow gets to the end with Joe and like I don't even know who the third person would be. I
Dude,
guess
I'm
Aubrey,
telling you, if
but
it
like
had been him, Joe, and Emily, I think he might have done it.
yeah, yeah. Because I think that's a good point. Because I was talking about this with Drew last episode. Like Emily, I do not believe could win Survivor because I don't think she could pitch her case at the end in a way
No
that
chance.
that could make people be like, "Oh, I want to vote for you on a human level." Like she is a financial analyst. She analyzes. She does not know how to connect to people. Like we saw
Yeah.
this season. Like Ozzy could not have that conversation he had with Devins this episode with Emily. Like she would literally be like, "That's crazy," and then walk up and leave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not her forte.
No.
And I love Emily, and I think Emily is way better at Survivor than she gives herself credit for.
Mhm.
And I'm a little sad that her boot is going to be overshadowed here by a far more interesting boot, because her boot was very interesting.
It was great tribal council on both sides. It really was.
I was standing up. I was standing out of my off of my couch. I watched this episode with my mom, and I was like walking. I was pacing around my mother, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I I can't even fathom Suri going home here. I mean, I
Yeah.
can fathom it, and that's the problem." But then she didn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that tribal council was great. I thought it was. But to answer your question from before, I brought up Jonathan dancing. Um,
Oh, right.
I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
I thought this was a really, really good idea from Emily, and I think if literally any other person on the cast except for Suri is in that spot, I think the plan works.
I agree. I agree. I think but I'm almost surprised it would work because like I I feel like I don't know what I think. I just feel like Devons should not. People should be able to logic that Devons would not play it on Emily. Like
Yeah.
that just wouldn't make sense. But I mean, it seems like it would have worked if there wasn't a hidden extra vote there that almost everybody didn't
Mhm.
know about. So you
I
know,
do part of me, and I know I said first successful extra vote from Suri, and I hate to take away an accolade from her because I want her to have all of them. But I do part of me does kind of believe that if like if Suri didn't have the extra vote here, she still would have found a way out of it. Like she would have just been like, okay, well, I think Emily's bullshitting. Let's just put the votes on Emily. And then Devins plays the idol for himself, and then Emily goes home, and none of the votes are on Devins. I do think there's a world there where that happens. Not a guarantee at all, but it's fucking Suri we're talking about.
it's just so crazy because like every vote has been dictated by her, and it's like, what would it be like? What would it be like if Jenna Lewis was in the game instead? Like what that would be? It would be Gabon.
Yeah, like who do you who's dominating the game right now if Jenna gets Suri out at that first tribal?
I
In which
mean,
was never going to happen. But in if Jenna like did Jenna play her shot in the dark?
no, no. I
No.
think she
Okay, if
just
Jenna
voted.
plays her shot in the dark and Suri goes, which again I have no clue how that would, but just Suri gets medevac, whatever. Um, Who's
Boy,
is the Honor and Integrity Alliance running the game right now?
I don't think so. I have to think about like what has Suri like orchestrated that really changed the game, which is everything, right? But I mean, like, was she the one who orchestrated Christian to go home? Because it could be Christian who could still be running the game. Or, would you say, well, would Genevieve have gone home? Would she be in a better position? Even with a blood moon, would
I
would
think
Colby still be here?
Charlie's maybe arguably still here if Sari's not in the game. She didn't orchestrate Charlie's boot, but she was definitely a very big part of it because it was a 4-3
Yeah,
vote on
yeah.
Rizzo, and that was probably a risk keeping Rizzo in the game that not a lot of people would have been willing to take. So yeah, I think it is the landscape of this final seven is vastly different if Jenna remains in the game after the first episode instead of Suri.
The people involved are going to be really different because like Rizzo would not be here. He would have gone home in the pre-merge. He would not have had
Mhm.
the opportunity to get an idol. Um,
Yeah.
Ozzy would have been gone in the pre-merge probably, and I don't know. Would Jonathan even still be here? Would they have gotten rid of him the second that he lost the first immunity? I could see that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just hard to envision. It's hard to even
It's
think.
probably I'm like
Tiffany, would she be
coach
would she
is
be here? I don't know.
coach is
I don't
running
know.
the game.
I now that maybe
Coach
a glimpse
remains
into
as the
that.
Tidewalker.
He never gives coach mode. He's serene all the time because he's won every immunity and hasn't had to worry about tribal council once. Yeah.
You know what I think about a lot?
Tell
Did
me.
you watch the Mike Bloom and Dalton Ross did a draft that like right after they filmed all the preseason content? The two of
I
them did
didn't
a
watch that.
draft and
No.
they posted it like at the after the preseason content, like so it was like the last thing that they did before they went home from Fiji. They did it in
Mhm.
their hotel room together. Um, I want to say I think Mike went first and he drafted coach first. And Dalton Ross said, God damn it, that's who I was going to pick. I think
Well,
about that constantly. What the fuck did they see? What-
dude, I watched the pregame. I don't normally do the pregame stuff, but I did for Survivor 50, and literally everybody said, "Oh, I would love to work with Coach." Like on paper, it was like, okay, I guess we're doing South Pacific again. Like,
Yeah, but then the problem is then you meet the guy. And then he plays Survivor the way that he plays Survivor. Like this was like that's totally a non sequitur to the episode, but that just stuck with me. Of like this was the only like in hindsight, this was the only way it was ever gonna go for Coach.
in fairness, nobody on Survivor 50 had actually played with Coach before. Like the closest was like Colby and Suri, but
It's
Suri
true.
was gone pre-merge, and then I guess Colby and Coach probably bonded with the Dragons or whatever,
Yeah,
but like they never played together either. So
he got
it
he frog marched.
but yeah, but I mean speaking of people who are on this season. Let's talk about Ozzy because there are also things going on with Ozzy.
There's a lot
Um,
going on with us.
why'd he do it? Why did he pull Aubrey aside and say everything? It's a go ahead. Go ahead.
This scene was the most painful Survivor scene for me to watch since in Survivor 46 when Hunter is trying to put all of the seasons in order.
My God. Oh,
And
that was
nothing
really
has been as
painful.
painful to me between that point and right now. Um
Boy, I think I agree with you.
this
Wow.
was crazy. Just like an all-time fuck up from Ozzy. To the point where like he's still at like the move to get Ozzy out here is certainly still attempted, even if he doesn't say these words. But like it as the show presents it, is the reason why Rizzo doesn't give him the heads up. Because
Yeah.
and Rizzo says it to him as he walks up to him, where he's like, I'll explain what I can. You said too much.
And he says it's too late for that.
You can't explain it.
Right, that's what he said.
You, you can't explain
Love
it.
Ozzy. Um,
Such a good exit.
I we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But Ozzy decides to spill everything, I guess. And I think I just think that like there's no reason. I mean, has Ozzy ever done this before in his Survivor career where he's been like, I'm voting you out and I'm going to explicitly tell you why? I feel like this is new even for him. Like, he didn't do this in Cook Islands, probably because he wasn't on the right side of the vote most of the time. But, like, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like he
Weird.
was doing this to Cochran constantly, but then never
That is
voted Cochran out.
that actually
That's the
is
difference
true.
here. Is that I guess he voted for Cochran sometimes, but like he never actually gets rid of Cochran, but is doing it the entire where he's looking Cochran. He's like it's the middle of the night and he's breathing in Cochran's face. He's like, "You're going home. I fucking hate you. We
That's
all
actually a
fucking
really good
hate you.
point. This is the
You're a
Redemption
dweeb."
Island. This is the Redemption Island difference because I feel like Coach is the only other castaway who like does similar stuff where he will be like, "It's time for you to go. It's been an honor to work with you, but Edna, you got to get out of here."
And yeah, fucking Rick Nelson.
Yeah, Rick Nelson, and the rest. And it's interesting. I mean, it's stupid, but it's interesting because I mean, like, he talks this entire season about being Oscar, and then I don't know what happened, but he reverted back to his Aussie ways. It was crazy. Maybe it was the auction. Maybe it was him reminding himself of the ice cream machine or betting 420. I don't know. I don't know what
This
it was.
I yeah, dude, this I feel like this was such a good like subversion of what the story felt like it was setting up because it felt
Yeah.
like the whole so much of this season story. Ozzy gets 19 confessionals in the premiere of this season. Ozzy is like a screen time hog on a crazy level in this season, and so much of that is dedicated to him learning from his past mistakes and not being Ozzy and being Oscar and knowing his strengths and weaknesses and playing a different game this time and specifically not going home with an idol in his pocket and
He had a
he
dream about it.
he
He
had a
had a
dream
dream.
about it. He had
My
a
God.
dream about it. This is
It's crazy.
just
I
like
want
Cowboy.
just like Cowboy. And I did think about that during the episode. I was like, this is just like Cowboy. Um, I want to say this about Ozzy's whole thing. I know we haven't really gotten in him actually being voted out, but just speaking because we're talking about it now. Going into the season, seeing Ozzy get cast, I was like, this is awful. And I'll tell you why. I think Ozzy's great. I think his story, at least if you asked me this 2 months ago or whatever, I would have said Ozzy's story should have ended in South Pacific. That was the perfect end for him. There's no way you could have peaked it. And then they brought him back in Game Changers and ruined what would have been maybe the best narrative in Survivor history. And then they bring him back for 50. He's got this stupid ass mullet. And I'm like, there's
he,
no way we're doing this again. Why are
he
we,
looks
why are
like
we,
Shambo.
Why are we bringing him back? Why are we monkey's paw curling, bring Ozzy back for one more season? He wants to go retreat to his Mexico City restaurant. Stop bringing him out to Fiji. Let him die in peace. But I gotta say, I think I've been saying that a coach has the best multi-season narrative in Survivor history, even with 50 included. I think this episode cements Ozzy as having the best. Like,
Yeah.
you can ignore all of Game Changers, it doesn't matter. But it also kind of matters for the purposes of like this is what Ozzy's like when he's doing nothing. Just to remind people, but like it's perfect. It's just so good because he never stops being stupid. Like, but he's always also good at Survivor at the same time.
It's
It's
so
so
bizarre.
weird. Yeah,
How has Ozzy never been pre-merge?
it's crazy. It's crazy.
How? And yeah, I totally agree that this probably will go down as unless Suri wins this season, this will remain probably forever as the best multi-season arc. And I felt the same way about Ozzy coming into this season, where I was like, why the fuck are we seeing like, oh my god, like Rob Cesternino isn't here. Sean
Yeah,
Rector's not
yeah. Sean
here.
Rector, sure.
Fucking
Natalie Bolton again.
Natalie
He was
Bolton. Well, I don't think
Amanda
Natalie and
Kimmel.
Ozzy are
Yeah,
competing for the same spot, but
yeah.
you like,
No, I get you. I get you. I mean,
Dominic
Amanda.
Abate.
Yeah,
Dominic Abate's not on this fucking season, but we have to watch Ozzy again. And
Amanda was not on the season because of Ozzy. Like,
yes,
there you
and
go.
I literally like I can't imagine this season without Ozzy. And this is the sad ending that Ozzy was always going to have. And I love it. I love it so much.
But
It's
also, the
brutal.
narratives of Survivor are better when they lose. Like in my
Yeah.
opinion, like if Sari won this season, it would be like she finally got it. This is our storybook ending. It's sunshine and rainbows, but like it is hard for me to connect with Sari on a human level in that sense. Like I can't imagine being amazing at everything I do like Sari is. With Ozzy, I'm like, dude, I could also see myself being that stupid. So it's like my
Mhm.
heart's out for you, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's not relatable if Suri is just better at anything than anyone, like is better
Yeah,
at
if she's
Survivor than anyone has ever been at anything. But it's relatable when Ozzy is like just in some weird limbo between being like in some ways an unprecedentedly skilled player in the things that he is skilled at, and then in other ways being like a bottom half player, firmly strategically is firmly in the bottom half of the 751 survivor players when it
yeah.
comes to just raw like strategic chops and understanding if this then this. It blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, imagine if I sat here and said, "Oh yeah, I relate to Suri because every time I play Blood in the Clock Tower, I also feel like people trust me intrinsically for no reason, and I've never made a social mistake."
Yep.
Versus Ozzy, where it's like, "Yeah, no, Ozzy's relatable to me because sometimes I'll just be a terrible actor and say, yeah, I'm doing this for revenge, basically,' and then
For
also
revenge, basically.
this is the thing. Like I feel like I forgot how much Ozzy's like so fun to watch until this season. Like like Game Changers like just completely removed that part of my brain. It's like I got an Ozzy lobotomy and Ozbotomy. But
The
I'm just back.
lobotomy.
Like they did the flashbacks to Ozzy in Cook Islands over the past few episodes, whether it be him in the ice cream machine or him talking about Final Tribal
Mhm.
Council, and it's like, dang, this guy's awesome. Like this,
Yeah, he's
like
so fun.
shouts out to Ozzy.
He's such a little weirdo.
He's weird, but well, Mike Renige, he wasn't so awesome,
He's
but
he's
he was
such a
also
little weirdo in Micronesia. His
he's
final tribal council's like question
uh
when he fucking stands up and he's fucking.
but he's
Do you think he did that to himself as he was walking down the ramp after he didn't fucking
yes,
play his idol?
yes. But also Ozzy that season, despite being a weirdo, makes a fake idol that at least one guy falls for, continues to do fishing, and has this crazy hat. Ozzy's hat in Micronesia? You can look it
Yes.
up later. It's a crazy hat. But whatever.
A lot of
That's
good
all to
hats in
say.
Micronesia.
That's all to say. Yeah. Shouts out to Mikey B's Boston Celtics hat. I know that's not the one you're thinking of. Jonathan Penner's classic.
I'm
And
and
others as well.
I'm thinking of Johnny Fairplay's Will Lie for Food hat.
Kathy Sleckman has a great visor on that season.
And Schleckman's
Um,
visor.
and others also as well,
And
I'm
others
sure.
also.
Um, but yeah, shouts out to Ozzy. That being said, I don't know why you did this.
This is one of the most baffling decisions ever. And it feels like, I guess like I want to be able to like give someone credit for this. Like I want to be able to be like, "Oh, Aubrey, like good job getting him to feel comfortable to spill the beat." But it doesn't even present it that way. It literally just presents it as Ozzy being totally wrong on a situation. Of Ozzy just being like he says he's doing it as jury management.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it is just a flat out completely unforced error. Like no one makes him do this.
The crazy thing is, like, even Aubrey in this conversation, she's basically not saying a thing. It's just Ozzy's kind of just monologuing to her about, hey, this is what I'm doing in this game. Here's every piece of information I've had to conceal that I'm telling you for no reason. And Aubrey at the end is just like, all right, and then gives a look in the camera like, what just happened?
This that must have been so bizarre for this to happen to Aubrey. Like Aubrey gets put in this situation and she's like, "Fuck, like this really sucks for
Yeah,
me."
I'm
And then Ozzy's
yeah.
like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And you're like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he says these words to you, and you're just like, "Okay."
I
And
mean,
he's doing it for jury management?
he he first of all, as we're told by the audience, this is like the start of the negotiations. This is not the end of like we're about to go to tribal, like the sun is setting. This is like they just got done with the immunity challenge. And he says everything. Notice the screenshot that I got is him saying, I'm trying to go to the end with Sari. Like it's and also
Why?
okay, actually, I figured out a new thing that's even more insane to this about. Hey, do you remember what happened last episode when Devin spilled everything that he knew about what was going on in the game because he knew he was on the bottom?
I do remember that.
He didn't. Ozzy didn't remember that. So I mean, like, whatever.
Yeah. The
Whatever.
and
Yeah.
one of many mistakes that has, but not even the most memorable mistake of the episode for Ozzy
No, it
here.
was really, I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it wasn't the worst. The
It was
thing
not the
is,
worst thing that he did.
it seems so obvious that Ozzy had fucked up. I was like, okay, he's not going home. It was a little like when Coach was like kind of forcing the devote to happen. I
Yeah,
was like, and then he didn't end up going home. I was like, okay, this is gonna have repercussions in a bit, aka in one episode. And that was kind of my thought for this. It was like, all right, this means that he's not gonna win at the end, or this means that he's gonna go home soon. This means Cerise's spot's gonna be blown up, which it still very well might.
probably will be.
But I really thought that like, but Aubrey's such an obvious vote. But
I
I don't know.
when I really like, yeah, I thought he would play it because it really even it set it up in the way it was being presented to us of, okay, is Rizzo going to tell Ozzy this? Will Ozzy play the idol? So I was like, okay, he's getting the votes. Is he going to
Yeah.
play it? And the moment that it like uh, I was like, "Oh my god, he's not gonna fucking play it," was when we saw him the vote that he cast for Aubrey. Because if he plays it and all the votes are for him, and then it's gonna come down to that, okay, who did he vote for? Which it pretty obviously he was gonna vote for Aubrey there, but still,
Yeah.
it's that moment of
Yeah.
suspense. And as soon as we saw him in the voting confessional, I went, "Oh my god, he's not gonna play it. He's actually not gonna play his idol." And then he doesn't fucking play the I oh.
And let's talk about that when we get to that. But you want to know? We can talk about a successful idol play instead because we did have one of those this episode, believe it or
Yeah,
not,
we did.
With Rick Devens playing his, as he called it, the Mr. Beast of Unity Idol, which I think was a holdover from the producers probably saying you got to say Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol,
Yep.
which I thought was funny. But he ends up playing his idol on himself, and it's the correct move. He was correct to do that.
Correct idol play. The
Amazing.
first correct idol play since
Boy.
Kyle in
Um,
48.
I was about to say, yeah, I think it'd be Kyle in 48.
Because
Um,
nobody plays one right in 49. Or no, no, yeah, because Alex just burns his, and then MC plays hers wrong, and then
yeah.
Rizzo holds his the whole time.
And
So
then,
for
but Kyle didn't. Did Kyle use it on himself? He didn't, right?
Kyle,
Or
no,
no?
Kyle plays the idol on
Right.
himself at the
Yeah.
when Thomas goes out. He
Right.
idles out
Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah. Right. Okay. It's all coming back to me now.
And
Um,
then also the previous correct idol play before that was Rachel. So that's
mhm.
the two previous correct idol plays were from winners. So good job, Rip.
Hey, there you go, Devons. There you go. So Devons does this idol play, and then I mean the question basically becomes, hey, did Suri use her extra vote or not? And then the answer is, of course, yes, she did.
Yes, she
Um,
did.
I do you think that Suri was going to do this regardless? Because she said that she was going to, do it if something seemed fishy. Do you think that she would have held on to it if she didn't sense something, or like I don't know?
I- If I'm Suri in this season, in this situation, under this exact set of circumstances, there is not a world where I do not use the extra vote here. So
Yeah,
that means that because that's what I think Suri was being serious, that it was actually if she gets a bad vibe, then she'll use it. And she got a bad vibe and then she used it. Um, because she's better than I am at Survivor.
there you go. There you go. I mean, I think that this is definitely, if you want to think logistically, I think this is probably the spot you want to use an extra vote. Like
Yeah.
it's just the perfect situation to use it because how often are you going to be at a final 6 vote on natural where that vote is going to matter? Because otherwise it'd be, a tie vote. That just
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often in Survivor.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I
Is
think the thing, like the correct place to be using your advantages, your non-idle advantages, your extra votes, your steal votes, your knowledge is powers, even your fucking block of votes, your um inheritance advantage. Is
yeah,
the
whatever.
correct place, the safety without powers, the correct place to be using those is either offensively or out of an abundance of caution after a swap or at a split tribal council.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think that when Jeff gets up to this wacky BS, this is when you want to use your advantages. Like
Yeah.
the one that comes to my mind is safety without powers, Jeremy in Winners at War, when it
Yep.
was like this huge tribal council. It's like, yeah, maybe his allies weren't too happy about it, but like he stayed safe.
He
Wasn't the
doesn't go
worst
home.
thing.
He
Yeah,
gets to
I
get
mean,
up and walk away. I fucking love the safety without power advantage, by the way. I think that's such a good idea for an advantage of just like, and I think the Jeremy example, like the first time it was used was a great thing because it was just like Jeremy, like, yeah, he just gets to fuck off and it's really strong, but in return, the people that were his allies are now fucking mad at him. Like
yeah.
that's the cost of the advantage, is it just makes your allies angry at you.
It's good. I mean, Suri basically had a safety without power, but it was just like the show being like, "Hey, you get to be safe." Or
Wasn't that great?
Rizzo and Ozzy also had that. Like that, that was cool because those are people I'm rooting for or whatever. But like, you know, intrinsically, it's less interesting because it's just like, all right, Suri got to be on a beach and then count some coconuts or look at some coconuts.
It was after the journey that Suri has been on with the Survivor twists. It was nice for there to be one that just worked out so extremely well in her favor
For
and
sure.
felt a little unfair, but in benefit of her. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the deal with all these crazy twists that have been happening. Is like I'm okay being a hypocrite. I'm okay being a Monday morning quarterback and being like I liked it because we won. I liked it because
Yeah,
Stephanie went home. With the
yeah,
with the Mr. Beast.
that was great.
Yeah,
Rick Devens
yeah.
gets a big TV moment and Stephanie goes home. That's exactly what I want every night when I sit down to watch my show.
And this is what I was saying at like the start of this podcast, which is like I'm cool with it. Like we have gotten the best case scenario for most of these things. The only exception was like the clear exception was the blood moon. But you're splitting them into three. Of course, it's gonna suck because come on. But regardless, like Mr. Beast twist went as well as possible. I feel like this went basically as well as possible. So there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, continuing on with it, I mean, Emily in the revote gets her torch snuffed.
Which I had a moment where I was not clear on the rules of Survivor, and I was very confused. And I've since had it cleared up, and we can talk about that. But when Jeff just kept reading votes, when I thought there was only going to be three at the revote, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And it
I
took me out of the moment of like, "Oh my god, wait, yes, she did it. Suri pulled it off. She's not going home." To be
yeah,
like, I was like, "What? Why is there so many votes?"
I still don't get it, honestly. I didn't even get any rules clarification. I don't know.
So it was based off of the precedent that was set at the tribal council where Sierra goes home in the Survivor 47
Okay.
merge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you recall, the group is splitting the votes between Sierra and Sam, and there's a
Yes.
tie between Sierra and Sam. And
Yes.
Sam doesn't have a vote at that tribal council. So
Right.
Jeff goes, "Okay, Sam, sorry to blow up your spot. Things are about to get weird, but I need to explain something to the group. So you can only vote for Sierra or Sam. Traditionally, when there's a tie between two people, they don't go vote because they can only vote for each other. However, the reason that's happening is because their votes would cancel out. But Sam, you have 0 votes, and Sierra, you have one, and one is greater than 0. So your votes don't
It's
cancel
true.
out. So Sierra, you're going to get up and go vote. So this was playing off of that precedent where
Okay.
essentially, if there is a disparity in the number of votes that the players involved in the tie have, then they still go up and vote because their votes are not canceling each other out because they are not equal.
Interesting. Okay, that does make sense, actually.
So
Interesting.
Suri got to go up and vote twice for Emily, and Emily had to go and vote once because it wasn't just a 1-1 tie, complete formality of a thing. Which I guess you could do it by having Suri go up and vote once, but that feels a lot more confusing in like the like trying to explain it to someone who's confused.
For
And
sure.
so that is the precedent that's been established, which I'm very comfortable with. Of if there is a disparity in the number of votes that the people involved in the tie have, then they will go vote in the revote appropriately according to the number of votes they have.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I honestly my assumption was that Jeff just like forgot the rules.
Yeah, that was I was really, really confused.
um but yeah, that makes more sense, I guess. But yeah, so I mean Emily goes home. I feel like she had an interesting season. I mean, she
Oh,
goes home the exact same day she did in 45, which is is
mhm.
is rough. What do you think about Emily this season?
I loved having Emily flipping back.
Hmm.
I was so happy to have Emily back. And this was never supposed to happen. Emily was very vocal, probably the most vocal person of the new era of I do not recommend Survivor as an experience to people. You should like the game was fine, but you should not go on television and do this. Don't do this. I'm never going to do this again. Probably next to only Kenzie was
I was
she
about to
as
say
vocal.
that means
And
we're gonna get
she's
another Kenzie appearance.
I would
Yeah,
fucking
pop
love
off.
that. Dude, I
Yeah.
fucking love Kenzie. But the um getting Emily back at all was like a miracle. And
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't know who talked her into it. I haven't listened to any of Emily's exit press. I don't know if that comes up of Emily elaborating on that. I don't know if anybody asked her that question. But so getting her back at all was a miracle. I think that she just like all the stuff in the swap with Christian with the fucking Q vote where she just says everything to everybody and she immediately regrets it and then goes tells Christian that she said everything to everybody. Like her not being able to keep her mouth closed. It was just so much fun to
Yeah.
watch her and Christian play together and to watch her navigate the merge and her and Rick were having fun and they came up with a really good fun plan this episode that didn't quite pan out, but it was good and it was fun and it was exciting and she had good commentary. I loved her watching Coach do
That
the
was really good.
haikus and her
Yeah.
just like her just like commentating it, I really really enjoyed having Emily back as much as I always knew I would when 45 ended and I was like get Emily back immediately. So I was very satisfied with Emily this season.
Yeah, it's interesting because she was such a major character on the season, but it's kind of easy to forget because she was kind of a side character, but she happened to just be going to a ton of tribal councils,
Hmm.
so that she became a main character. But it's like her being almost like the sidekick to the Rick Devens show at the end, or the sidekick to the Christian show at the beginning. Like, but she always brings entertaining confessionals. Like she's a really unique confessionalist because she's almost like Sophie Clark in the way that she like just kind of like says it so neutrally and so simply that it's like sometimes you can like not realize that like she said I think at one point she's like, yeah, Ozzy's a terrible survivor player. Like she just says that like it's as true as the sky is blue or the ocean is blue or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. Uh so yeah, shouts out Emily. And you
Shout
know
out.
what? She might have been right because in the other tribal council, what do we get? But well, we get Ozzy saying "fuck me" because he didn't
Fuck
play his
me.
idol. Um,
I can't believe he doesn't fucking play that thing.
I just even I feel like if you ask somebody, okay, you're in a Final Five situation, you have an idol, are you going to use it? Then you normally would, but it's like, okay, I at least can recognize, hey, Rizzo had an idol, he didn't play it, so like maybe it's hypocritical for me to expect Ozzy to, but at the same time, Ozzy knew his name was on the block.
Yeah, I and the Rizzo thing of it all, Rizzo is like an outlier in that I think Rizzo is the best ever at one very specific thing, which is knowing exactly when he does not need to play his idol.
Yeah,
And
him and Ty was also really good at that. Sorry.
amen. Yeah, yeah, that was good. That's a good shout too. But him holding it through all of 49 and then getting this one and holding it through all of this and being the last idol left in the game to this point. There's probably going to be another one hidden now that the
Yeah.
Mr. Beast idol and there's only one boomerang idol left. So I would not be surprised at all if Rick or s- somebody else, Suri, finds an idol next episode. Um, but yeah, I think Rizzo is probably the best ever at that of just like I'm gonna hold on to this idol and you're not gonna do anything about it and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
So props to Rizzo there. But yeah, Ozzy is not good at that.
No, not at all. Um, so obviously he went home with an idol in Micronesia, but
Yeah.
he also had an idol in South Pacific, and I believe he incorrectly used that on Keith, I believe, in the tribal council where he went home after coming back from Redemption Island or something like that. He had an idol. I don't remember what happened to it though. I think he
Did
played it
he have an
incorrectly.
idol in South Pacific? I don't remember that at all. And I fucking love South Pacific. But I
I'm
can't
pre-
think of what happens to the Savai idol, so I'm assuming that you're correct that Ozzy just has it and plays it wrong.
well, let me look this up. In the meantime, let's just talk about how insane this is. Like, I mean, we have been for a while, but it's like history repeats itself yet again.
Yeah,
It's
is
crazy.
Ozzy the first? There's no way he's the first person to go home with an idol in his pocket twice.
Yeah,
Some people have gone home with two idols in their pockets, but to
sure,
go home
sure.
with one idol in your pocket on two separate occasions, is he the first person to do that? There's no way.
Oh boy. I mean,
Is there?
I
Is
I
he?
think I think he's the first one because
Jesus Christ.
50 seasons of Survivor, we're still seeing new things. I'm just trying to think of who else it could be. I mean, JT went JT went home with an idol in Game Changers, but he gave his idol to Russell
Yeah,
in Heroes versus Villains, which was a big time blunder in its own right. But I mean,
very big time blunder. Does
but
anybody in like Second Chance? No, because Kelly and Jeremy are the only people who find idols on that season.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, huh? Yeah, I guess by default. I mean, until Jem from Survivor 46 comes back and gets idled out again, or gets voted
Yeah,
out with an idol. But
maybe Tiffany's gonna pull a Venus and just find the idol next episode and then immediately go out the door with it.
there you go. There you go. I could see it. So yeah, he did have an idol in South Pacific, by the way. Merge vote in South Pacific. He uses it on Whitney in a deadlock
Mm,
vote. Um, and it didn't pan out, and then Cochran flips, and then Ozzy goes home. Or no, I think Keith goes home first, and then Ozzy goes home after
yeah.
that.
Who do
Um,
they? Who does the Savais put the votes on that? Do they just put it on Coach?
I feel like they put it on. I don't know why my mind's saying Rick. It probably wasn't Rick. Um, Boy, I don't know. Yes, it was Rick. I
Oh wow.
was right. Wow. Huh.
Imagine the world where Ozzy idols. What world are we living in if back in 2011 Ozzy correctly plays the idol for, well, let's say he's right that they put the votes on Whitney and then he plays the idol on Whitney and then Rick is idled out of South Pacific.
We're living in a world where, I mean, Ozzy wins because, I mean, like, in that
Ozzy
situation, he's
wins.
not losing a puzzle to Sophie. I don't
It's not
know.
losing a puzzle to Sophie.
And what's the situation then? He loses the puzzle to Dawn. Is Dawn the winner of Survivor South Pacific?
Maybe it's
Maybe.
Cochran.
I don't think it would be Cochran.
Maybe it's I don't know who I don't fucking know who it would be.
But yeah, it's hey, the Survivor What If game. We've been playing it all podcast.
It's
I've
so
played a little
fun.
more. It is really fun. It's a good time. So yeah, Ozzy gets blindsided, and Rizzo goes up to him, who could have alerted Ozzy about this whole thing, as we talked about before, and he says, "You said too much, bro." I guess that's my Rizzo impression, but
That
he
was pretty
says,
good.
"Yeah, whatever." But what is this? Do you think this was Rizzo just trying to explain, or do you think this is jury management? Like, do you think he had any thoughts in his brain when he said, "You said too much, bro"?
I think it is in general a very bad idea to speak to the person you've just voted out.
Yeah,
I think that is usually, not always, but usually just the wrong choice. And I think that was the wrong choice here. And I think that maybe he was going for like a Jesse Cody thing because in Rizzo's mind, I have to imagine that this felt like that for him of Jesse flipping on Cody and God, that was so fucking cool
yeah.
when he did that.
I feel like my guess is like I think part of this is probably just like human nature, at least in Rizzo's case. Maybe not. He's an orc player, so I don't know. But in the sense of like you just blindsided someone. He is very upset about it. Not a little upset. He's the most upset he's ever been. Apparently, I read this in his exit press that he was standing like in front of Jeff for like 5 minutes just trying to think of what to say because he was so pissed off. Which is very Aussie.
It's
Um,
so Ozzy.
and I guess it's human nature to probably try to comfort him, but I think, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't talk to him because, like, we were just talking about how Jonathan is no chance, and he's been doing that like every vote. He went up to
Dude,
Chris.
d-
Yeah,
giving Christian the shot in the dark back.
I,
Get the
I,
fuck out of here.
when I was in Toronto and I was sitting with my friends and he did that, I was like, oh shit, that is disrespectful. I was like, that was disrespectful. And when people afterwards were like, oh, that was a really nice gesture by Jonathan, I was like, no, the fuck it
No, it
wasn't.
was not.
Like
No, it was not.
maybe he wanted it to be, but like that is the most like I am putting Himalayan salt directly into your open wound. Like that is
The,
not gonna feel good.
the look on Christian's fucking face when he gets hit, he's just like,
He's dumbfounded, as I would be as well. Like it's wild. It's wild. Um, but regardless, so both Jonathan and Rizzo talk to Ozzy as he's leaving. And by the way, I know this is standard on Survivor now, and I don't mean to sound like an old man yelling at a cloud, but like, why are we always hugging the people we just blindsided? Like, a good game's enough. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Bring back Sage.
Yeah.
Sage,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to hug you in this moment. One day you'll get that hug.
Yeah. I mean, like even Coach had this experience where I think he tried to hug what was it Boss and
Stacy.
Rob,
Oh,
and Stacy. I mean, both, and each time he got absolutely denied.
you can keep
So,
that hug for me because it wasn't real.
boop. Um,
Boop.
um. Anyways, Ozzy, he gets his scorch snuffed, and he's very upset about it. Indeed. Um, I didn't really know what else to say about this. I
This
just look.
was so brutal.
It truly is like you gotta feel for the guy. I mean, it's just like he did it to himself and he knows it. Like the instant his name comes up a second time, he's like, again, I did this again. You can see him going through the 5 stages of grief in real time in like 20 seconds. It's crazy. Um, no, it's really like what the first one's denial. He denies for the entire episode that he actually needs to play his idol. Then it's what it's anger. He's angry.
Anger,
He's like, why we had a good thing going. I trusted you guys. And then and then it's
bargaining.
bargaining, and it's like, I trusted you guys. Like what? And then it's depression, where he looks like this, bringing the picture back up again. Very sad. And then it's acceptance, where he stands there for 5 minutes and then finally says, "Good luck, guys."
Oh
It's,
my god, that's definitely gonna be like one for the ages of Survivor exits. Is
I
Ozzy's?
mean,
Well,
I really am trying to think of the last exit that was that good in Survivor history. Like Annika was pretty good, but like what?
And like like the Annika and like the Kelly of it all, it's like those ones are great. Like they do as much as they can in that moment. But there's just so much story in this one.
Yeah,
It is like 5 seasons of trying and then finally being able to start to change the narrative of what your Survivor story was and to show you that you really can do this.
and
And then you
yeah,
just fuck it up
and
so bad.
he believes so hard he's changing his narrative too. That's why he brings Aubrey aside and is like, I wanna go to the end with Suri. I want to be with the best players, which by the way is a crazy thing to say to someone who's played 4 times. I want to sit with the
Nuts.
best at the end.
Nuts.
But
Unless you're also trying to do the and that's why I want to sit at the end with you. Which
was not what was happening.
yeah. Do you what okay. Is there is there any like no, I know I'm really like I'm trying to think if there's anything different that Ozzy like aside from play your idol and but
Yeah.
like what is there a move? Like does Ozzy have a chance of being like Aubrey? We got to break up Jonathan and Joe. Like is there a thing there at all?
I don't think so. And I'll go one step beyond that, which is like as soon as he says, I want to go to the end with the best, I'm going to the end with Suri, he loses immediately. Like,
Yeah.
because just think about it like this. Even in the world where he brings Suri to the end, which automatically means he's losing anyways. But like imagine if somehow Suri like I don't know, does like a Will Sims and no one respects her anymore or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
But and, anybody else he's sitting next to at the end is going to be less respected than the people on the jury, like Aubrey or Cole or Coach or D, the winner, or Christian. Like if he's sitting next to Rizzo there and is like, "I'm here with the best players," everyone is going to be so offended. Like I would be offended.
Oh my
I'd be
god.
like, "You brought the Riz God. You said the Riz God was better than me, Coach, the Tide Walker, you know.
Mhm. You said the Riz God was better than me, Chrissy.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Which is so funny because Rizzo is so good at Survivor.
He
Like,
he is a really
he
good
really
Survivor
is.
player.
He is as good as he thinks he is, but he's not going to win.
I kind of disagree with you, and maybe this is where we start talking about what we think is going to go on the rest of the
Okay,
season
yeah, let's
because
talk about it. I'll get my
because
freaking blankie on.
I've been saying for a little while now that I think Rizzo, ever since Christian left, Rizzo's been the guy that I'm putting the eggs in my basket into. Is like, I think Rizzo's got a real shot because I think, unlike Ozzy, he's working with Suri, but I think Rizzo knows I should not sit next to Suri at the end and will
Mhm.
cut her when he needs to. I think he's smart enough to know that, and it's like there are big enough threats in front of him, but not so many that it's just not going to happen. Like he needs to cut Devins, which everybody else already wants to do, and Sari, which I feel like people already want to do, and then it's like okay, his biggest competition is like Tiffany, Jonathan, probably not Jonathan, Aubrey.
So I agree with the like Rizzo being smart enough to know like okay like I can't go sit next to Suri in the final three. I agree with that conceptually. However,
How
there's a few extenuating circumstances here beyond just what is transpiring within these 26 days that are Survivor 50. Part of that is Rizzo was never going to win Survivor 49. As
yeah,
we know from the exit press, the jury did not respect him at all. I guess maybe never is strong, but he would
it
have
was
had
tough.
to really knock it out of the park at Final Tribal Council. And whichever two people he was sitting next to, specifically what probably would have been like,
Sophie
I
or
mean, it would have been
Savannah.
Sophie and Sage because of
Yeah,
like if he
for
wins
sure.
fire,
Yeah,
he has to really hope that Sophie shits the bed at Final Tribal Council, which she didn't. She does really good at Final Tribal Council.
yeah.
And so Rizzo plays this awesome game, but is never going to win that season. I don't think that Rizzo had time to find that out between 49 and 50. So
No,
in his mind, he's thinking if I had just made it to the end on 49, I would have won. And so now he's playing again where he's like, I did everything right. I just needed to get one more step. And so now he just has the mindset of do better than I did last time and I win.
it's the
And
Russell Hantz thing. It's the
it's
Russell
the
Hantz
Russell
thing.
Hantz thing. And so he's got that working against him where I think he's going to be way more confident in his chances than which it's good to be confident in your chances at a final tribal council, but I think he's going to rank himself way higher in the, like, I think he's probably thinking I beat everyone but Suri is probably what he's thinking. And that's not true.
Yeah,
And the other side of that coin, and we've seen this befell people before. What did everyone say in the preseason about Rizzo? I can't believe they let a 13-year-old boy play Survivor.
this is a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
You're telling me that a jury composed of, but not limited to, Coach and Stephanie and
Chrissy.
Ozzy and
Yeah,
Christian and Chrissy and maybe Joe or maybe Sari or
uh,
maybe
okay,
Aubrey
okay, all right,
is
I
going to
gotcha.
give the tallest child who's ever lived $2 million.
Okay, you raise a very good point. Okay, I'll give it up. You got me. All right,
Dude, no fucking
all
shot.
right. You make a really good point.
There's no
Okay,
world where
all
he
right,
gets 6 jury votes.
all right.
Or I guess 5 is technically the lowest you can win with in a jury of 11. But I can't make it work. I cannot make the chips fall in the right places. It,
It's a really good point. It's a really good point.
So I in terms of who I perceive as having a chance of winning the season, Rizzo I think will succeed in his goal of becoming a Survivor legend. Dare I say he already has. Winner of Survivor, maybe on his third time out.
I You know what? I think the extra $1 million makes a big difference that even
Does
I wasn't
make
thinking about. Like I think if it was Rizzo fighting for $1 million, you would have
yeah,
had a good point regardless, which is he's 13 years old and he no one's seen him play before. This guy's not a legend in
I didn't even
anyone's
say that
book,
part.
and he's been frankly coasting off Suri's coattails for a while now, regardless of if people will see that or not. And he's been holding on to an idol, which has made him be safe. All that is a great point, regardless of whether you said it or not. I'll also add it to it. But the fact that it's $2 million is like, I look back at Winners at War, like, even imagine a world where, hey, Nick Wilson got to like final six or final five. Imagine if Nick Wilson is sitting there next to like Tony or Sarah or whatever. It doesn't matter how good he sells his game. Like, all you have to be like is, I'm a cop. I need the money, and it's
Yeah.
like there's no shot. There's no shot. Like I
Yeah, no,
think,
it's
yeah. I
Rizzo
mean,
older than both you and I.
this is true. This is true. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
A little, yeah. I mean, he's the Gen Z representative, and he's further away from. Well, I guess Gen Z's a spectrum or whatever, but he is
Mm.
probably spiritually more away from Gen Z than you or I are. So I don't know. I don't know, but no, you raise a really good point, and now I'm like, okay, well now who do I think is gonna win? Because my number two was Ozzy going into this episode, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
So
I would okay, now that I've destroyed your Rizzo
yeah,
expectation,
and you really did. You
who
really
do you
did.
think is gonna I'm happy I can burst your bubble.
Okay, so this is kind of a far out image, so it's not going to be very helpful, but this is the closest I have. So
Mhm.
I'm so sorry, but we're going to figure this out. So
Yeah.
Ozzy's back here. He's dead. He's
He's
gone.
dead. Emily
Emily's
dead.
gone. Rizzo
Rizzo
spiritually is
now dead.
gone.
Mhm.
Jonathan is likely spiritually gone.
Yep.
That's Joe. I mean,
That's
Joe
Joe.
has no shot. So basically, we have Devins, Tiffany,
Tiffany,
Aubrey, and
Aubrey,
Suri.
and Suri.
So I would ask you first. Who do you think's going to win of these four before I say
Um,
my thoughts?
I'll be happy to go first because I know that we'll have different answers because you already said your answer. But this is my, my childish optimism and my childlike wonder and my
Mhm.
rose-tinted glasses and my blind optimism at all things that I approach my life with that makes me be happy and joyous. Um, is that I genuinely believe that I think Suri has a very good shot of doing it this time and for this season to end in the most storybook way. And I think this was her biggest setback of the season, losing Ozzy for sure. But if there's anyone who can bounce back from losing an ally like this, it is Suri Fields.
The only question I have, I agree with you. My only question is, who's bringing her to the end? Who's going to do that?
I kind of asked myself that same question of like, it is crazy that like who how the fuck did she get through the end game? But then you think about that a little harder, and what happened this round? Why did Suri have two people locked in voting with her? Tiffany and Jonathan were just like, yeah, yeah, I'm not voting for Suri. Like, I've got to get rid of Rick and Emily. And
Uh,
it's that magic power that she has of being able to, and yes, there's that question of how does Suri get past the end game? In Panama, she's half the votes are on her side at the final four. She makes it past the final four in Micronesia. In Game Changers, yes, she goes home at the final six, but no one votes against her at the final six. And
oh
then in
my God.
Australia versus the world, yeah, she's at the final four, but half the votes are on her side. She's never a clear boot in the end game. Never. She's never been a clear boot ever.
I'll
It's
say this to add to your point. I don't believe Tiffany would take her to the end. I don't believe Jonathan would take her to the end. But I do think Joe would take her to the end because he's stupid.
Yeah. And
And
all that's all she needs.
that's
All
all
she
she
needs
needs.
is one idiot and a
And a
decent
dream.
and having learned something about making a fire in the many times that she's tried to do it. If if it's teeny Sam got second place on Survivor instead of fourth because the wind blew in a weird direction.
Yeah, that is true. That did happen. And instead we'd be looking at Rachel still winning, but who being who's
It would have been teeny.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, but
Rachel.
who who came in third that season? I
Oh,
can't
Sue.
remember. Yeah, Sue could have been second place in that season because nobody respected Teeny's game from what I remember. So
I think Sue and Teeny probably tie for second is what happens. I think that Rachel
fair
just
enough.
gets every vote.
Fair enough. Yeah. Um,
So
but
that's
no,
what
it's true.
I seriously think that she can do it. And I've been saying that since the season began, so I'm extremely biased because this is what I've wanted the whole time. But oh my god, it's actually like we've come so close to it. So I think I don't think that's a slam dunk by any means, but I think there's a real shot Suri pulls it off.
You raised some good points. I we've been burned enough. I'll
We've been
believe
burned
it
a
when I
lot.
see it. So
Yeah.
going back to the drawing board for
So that
me,
leaves three people. That leaves Tiffany, Rick, and Aubrey.
yes. So once again, cutting off Cerise. So it's between Tiffany, Rick, and Aubrey. I'm going to cut out Tiffany for one very stupid reason, but it's a reason that I think is valid, which is she wasn't on half the season.
She's not in the show.
You can't. There's no way she wins.
Yeah, no, Tiffany's
Like
not.
Tina in Australian Outback wasn't in like the first episode and a half, but she then she was in the third, fourth. She was there afterwards.
Yeah.
I I mean Natalie White, I think got maybe a confessional. Like she had more confessionals than Samoa, and this is not. There's just no fucking way.
Mhm.
There's just no way. So it's between Devins or Aubrey, and it's like I don't really think either of them's gonna win. But if I'm gonna pick one, I guess it's Aubrey. I don't know, because like, how does Devins get to the end? He needs to idols Max immediately. He just
And he's done that before. He if there's anyone who can idol Max, it's fucking Rick.
yeah, and he can also. I'll say this about Rick: he can make a fire, second fastest fire in Survivor history at one point. But at the wrong spot. Because Chris Underwood
Oh,
had the
is that?
fastest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then Devins was like 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, because I forgot. Yeah, his rope breaks right after Chris's does.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I don't know. Here's the thing. If you had me saying going into the season that yeah, Aubrey might win, I would say that, I would have been like, that's an imposter. Somebody took my skin and took it over. I'm now
Yeah.
an android. But I mean, like, it's either, I don't know. I'm gonna say it really could go either way.
Mhm.
I I feel like Rick just has way too big of a target. Like,
Yeah.
and now that Ozzy's gone, I think the door really opens up for people to make big moves against people who were a big deal. So I think that means your Jonathan's gonna go home. Maybe your RZA is gonna go home. Your Devins is gonna go home. Perhaps the Cerise is gonna go home, and then it'll be Aubrey, Tiffany, and Joe at the end, and it'll be like, uh, I guess Aubrey wins because she
Yeah,
played
and
4 times.
yeah, I totally. I think if it's not Suri, I think Aubrey really has a good chance of just skating by and letting this bloodbath happen, starting with the Ozzy domino falling, and then it's being like, okay, big target. Rick goes, Jonathan goes, Suri goes, Rizzo goes, and then yeah, exactly. It's Tiffany and Joe and Aubrey, and then it's like I think it would be a tight vote between Aubrey and Tiffany, and hell, maybe Coach votes for Joe and Stephanie votes for Joe. So I think that could actually be a pretty competitive final three. I hope
if
that that's not the result of the season. I
if
do.
if Joe
What?
gets second place in the season after getting third and 48, but when having the giantest winners edit seemingly in the world for half the season, and gets a better placement on this season, where the only thing we've gotten him for the past 4 episodes is him being like, Devins is offensive.
Rick Devens is a terrible person.
That would be hilarious. I
It's
can't
so
lie.
funny.
That would be so funny.
Rick Devens got us $2 million, and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's what his edit has been basically since like episode 3 or whenever that argument happens over Savannah. That was episode 2. That was episode 2 of the show.
Yes,
Um,
yes, that's episode 2.
and this beef has persisted like crazy.
Yeah, do you think the beef's gonna last till the finale, or you think that's getting squashed next episode? Because
I
they've been beefing for a while.
I don't think it matters if one of them goes home next episode, because I think the most factually, it is likely that one of them sits at the end, especially
Yeah.
Joe, cough, cough, Joe. I want Rick Devens to be on the jury so bad for that, for him to just rip into Joe,
Oh
because
yeah.
he's been wanting to do it all season. He did it to him a little, but like that's what I need. That would fuel me,
Mhm.
because like there was a little bit of rippage into Joe in 48, but it was more like, wow, Kyle and Camilla really ran this season, and you didn't run the season in comparison. And like this whole thing with Shaheen, but like it's a returnee season. People are salty as fuck. So I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is where the salt pours in.
hmm
Um, but I guess with that, I'd ask you, hey, who's going to be next on the jury bench? You said in your little spiel that you thought it was going to be Rick, but I don't know if you actually think that.
I think
I'll
I
pull up
I
the bad image
yeah,
again.
let me see the bad image again. So
So Ozzy's already gone. Emily's gone. Suri, you think's
I
going to win.
I
Aubrey, Rizzo,
I,
Jonathan, Devin's Joe.
I do I do as much as okay. I think Suri has a good chance of winning. I also think that Suri is going to be in trouble, and that's the thing. Is like Suri is going to be in trouble, but she's really good at not being in trouble and getting out of being in trouble.
Yeah.
So I totally see a world where Suri goes home next year, and as much as I see a world where she doesn't go home and she wins. Um, so I think Cerie's definitely gonna be on the chopping block. Rick absolutely is gonna be like, I think that's probably Cerie's best bet of staying, of being like, hey Jonathan, hey Joe, hey Tiffany, who's going to vote with me and has been rocking with me since the whole merge. Rick doesn't have his fucking idol anymore, and we're four, and there's seven people left. Let's fucking vote out Rick. Like I think probably Rick and Cerie are in the most trouble next week.
Um, I disagree, and that is only because I just looked into the Magic 8 Ball and I saw everything. I saw what this edit was leading up to this past episode, and I see it. I just remembered there was a moment in this episode where Cerie's pretending to be like, "Yeah, I'm on board with the Aussie vote," and she says something along the lines of, "Yeah, Ozzy and Rizzo expect me to tell them when to play their idol." Well, Rizzo just burned Cerie. He still has an idol. He's
Mm.
still there, and he hasn't
Woo.
used that idol. All Cerie needs to do is to say to Rizzo, "You're good. I get it. He said too much." And then go up to Jonathan, who still trusts her implicitly, and Tiffany, who trusts her implicitly, and I guess probably loop in Aubrey or whatever, and be like, "Now's the time to strike." He's not going to win immunity. Rizzo's gone. There you go. That's my prediction. I've looked
I
into the
like that.
Magic 8 Ball.
If fucking the if Rizzo finally goes home with that with an idol in his pocket, this after this many tribals in a row holding one, I will be that would be one hell of a way to go out.
It'd be a good character arc too. Good multi-season character arc.
And we
Everything
love
was
those.
good until you mess with Suri Fields. A
Mhm.
life lesson for us all.
That is what you
Okay.
call a life lesson.
Any final thoughts on this episode or this season? Anything on your
Um,
brain?
I'm. I hope that Aubrey Bracco does not win season 50.
I'm with you. I'm with you, honestly. I just I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be. I feel like honestly, most of the possible winners are like unsatisfying. Joe, obviously. Jonathan, obviously.
Mhm.
Tiffany, to me, obviously, but I'm sure some people would be happy about it.
Yeah,
Um, Aubrey, unsatisfying. The only satisfying winners, once again, let's pull up the fucking image
pull
again.
up the get him
Um,
up.
Suri would obviously be
Mhm.
satisfying. Rizzo would be like meh, and then Devon's would probably be pretty satisfying.
Yeah. I think Suri and Rick are really the like big, like feeling like it's like there's this is a magical ending to this magical season is if Rick or Suri wins.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess we'll see. That honestly makes me worried for the end of the season. Just realizing that, like, honestly, if Jonathan wins somehow, I'll be like, all right, I'll give it up. People that look like him don't win Survivor, so like
Yeah,
that's
they
that's
got
kind of
one.
neat. That's kind of neat. We'll chalk it up, and another win in the Boston Rob pantheon. Basically. But I don't know.
Can I complain about something that's been happening that's been being a word specifically that has been being said a lot in these past like 3 episodes?
Okay, please.
I think that the chaos stuff is so fucking cringe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so like Like there and like I, I think it's last episode, like see episode 10, not episode 11. Maybe it even is. I don't actually. It might have been this week. I don't even fucking remember. But Rick and Emily have a conversation, and
Oh, that was
let me
this
be clear.
episode. Yeah.
I love Rick and Emily. I fucking love these two. I would follow these two in a fucking war. So
Yeah.
don't take this as like I'm like an anti to them. I'm not a fan of them. I fucking love these two. I'm so happy they're on this season. I'm so happy that I'm watching them play Survivor again. That conversation that they have where we're like, we're unhinged. We should not be allowed to play this game together. It was just like I was like, okay.
No, I think
Uh,
that was a previous episode, and in this episode, they were like, "I love the chaos.
I
I
hate I
love the."
hate
Yeah.
I hate that. I don't know what it is. It's just starting to get on my nerves of like and like Aubrey says it all the time. And this is the thing
Aubrey's
about
not a
Aubrey.
chaotic player.
She's
She's
not at all.
no,
She's not at all. And she's also not good in confessional.
nope. She's frankly, and I've said this for years, and I've been very kind to her this season because I've been like, okay, we're getting a slightly different side, but in general, I think that she is like the most boring castaway to be brought back multiple times, and she's been brought back 3 times.
She's certainly the least charismatic 4+ time player without any question. I can barely even think of other 4 time. Who are the other four people who played four or more times? Coach, Suri,
Boston
Ozzy,
Rob,
Boston Rob, Tyson,
uh,
Parvati.
yeah, yeah,
And then Aubrey. Is that literally the list? Rupert,
yeah. I mean,
Stephanie,
well, Stephanie actually makes a
giving
compelling
her a run
case,
for her money.
but yeah.
Stephanie's boring. Definitely this season. I don't know if that's the word you'd use for Stephanie's first 3 seasons.
No, I mean, even in Heroes versus Villains, she got her shoulder dislocated. I mean, that's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. She was fighting with James, and then in Guatemala, she was calling Bobby John slurs.
It's just that did
And
happen.
that's a lot of things, but it wasn't
That did
boring,
happen. I forgot about that. Wow. What a world. 2005. Um,
right?
yeah, no, it's very true. And I'm worried because part of the reason why I'm like, I guess I think Aubrey could win is because I see it. I see the coronation happening. I see it in front of my eyes, especially once again with the $2 million being added. I feel like it is much more likely to be a legacy advantage, honestly, in its own way of just like, hey, you're a legend of this game. You never won before. Like if Ozzy had made the end
Here it
or
is.
Sari made the end, it would feel good. It would be like, oh yeah, no, this is heartwarming. My heart is warmed by this. Here it's just like, uh
Because and I feel like it sort of felt like because so Aubrey was talking so much about like, oh, like you got to make a big move, which
good Aubrey impression, by the way.
is there much precedent to people being like, oh, I feel like if you say you have to make a big move and then you make a big move that episode, that's like cool. But sometimes people will be like, for 4 episodes, they'll be like, I have to make a big move, and it's Mitch,
Yeah. Or
and
like
then they don't.
yeah, I mean, there were levels to it, like Mitch is the probably most obvious example of like you did nothing, but like even like I think of Sierra in Second Chance where it's like she's saying we need to make a big move, but at least she was on the bottom the whole time. And it's like,
Mhm.
she can't help if people aren't going to work with her. With Aubrey, it's like has she ever made a big move? I can't think of one. And
This
maybe
maybe
that's my
this was it, like but it didn't really feel like, yeah,
it wasn't her move.
she gets the information and she like spills it to Rizzo, and like then Rizzo doesn't give Ozzy the signal, but it felt like it was kind of a team effort to get
Yeah.
Ozzy out of the game.
Yeah. And so that'll be interesting if like, Aubrey and Jonathan somehow get to the end and they're both like, it was my move.
Mhm.
But I mean, I
Uh,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
And Aubrey didn't have a choice. The other option was go home.
Yeah, that's like in 48 if Mary got to the end after playing her shot in the dark and was like, my big move was getting out uh
Justin.
Justin. Yeah. Like I don't know, but that's whatever.
Yeah. So I hope Aubrey doesn't win season 50 because I want there to be a big feel good splash flashy win at the end. And I feel like Suri and Rick and I could you can make the argument for Rizzo also. I think people would feel some type of way about that given the fact that he did like people will start to remember like wow Rizzo just fucking got here if Rizzo won.
Yeah,
But he's played a really fucking good game and he's a really fun character and he
yeah,
just bounces off the screen and he's so engaging and
yeah.
everyone has an opinion on Rizzo. And like I don't know if my dad could have told you what Aubrey's name was until like episode 9.
It probably couldn't spell it right. I know my dad can't. So I mean, and she's played 4 times. So I mean, there you go. I think that says it all. You know, he'll spell Sarie's name right. He'll spell Ozzy's name right. Aubrey, no,
Mm-mm,
never. So
mm-mm.
there you go. A life
There you
lesson.
have it.
Thank you, Alec, for being on the podcast. This is
Thank
a
you,
lot of
Joey.
fun. We'll do it again sometime. I just know we will.
Oh yeah,
But
Big Brother this summer.
I don't know. Jury's out on that. Unless they bring Sari back, I don't know. But we'll see. It's been an honor. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in.
Wait. Are we doing plugs? Is there plugs
Oh yeah,
happening?
you can plug. Sure, go
I
ahead.
plug. Hey, if you like this shirt that I'm wearing of Snoopy wearing a survivor buff and a necklace and holding a torch, if you like stuff like this and you want more stuff like this, my lovely girlfriend, who you probably know the name of if you are watching this podcast, Trina made this shirt, and Trina makes a lot of other shirts. If you go to Depop and look up Giggling Honey, you will find shirts like this. You also go to Instagram, Giggling Honey Art, at Giggling Honey Art, and find more shirts like this. She also does commissions. So even if there's not a shirt that looks like this on her page, you can ask her to make one, and she will, and she'll send it to you. And she's in Italy right now, so it will take a couple days. But when she's back, she will do that for you if you want that. So yeah, Giggling Honey,
There
Instagram
you
and
go.
Depop.
There you go. And with that plug, I mean, thank you, Alec, for that. And I know I'll be checking that out because I was not aware of that. So I'm going to do that personally. And you should too. But thank you for tuning in.
Oh,
Have a
thank
great
you.
one. See you later. Bye.